Hey, welcome back to the Break Room Podcast. Then we got all four members back in the studio.
Hey.
Very nice. Very nice.
Hey.
And speaking of four completed, I finally have all four of the 12-inch vintage style Ninja Turtles.
Look at that.
Shout out to my boy Matt that I work with, who hooked me up with the Michelangelo, which is the last one I was missing.
You're 3 minutes late, dude.
Wise man
free,
would
man.
say forgiveness is divine,
Red Bulls
but
and
never
Red Bulls.
pay full price for late pizza.
We've had this discussion. Which of the four are we? Right? Rob's been
I'm
through
most like Michelangelo, but my favorite is Leonardo.
Nice.
I'm most like Raphael, and my favorite is Raphael.
Perfect. I love Raphael. Raphael was always my favorite for sure. I'm probably more the Donatello because he's the tech guy.
Yeah.
I forget whose personalities are what. I like the two little fucking.
Yeah, that's Raphael.
Raphael.
Yeah.
The two little what?
Scythes?
How's that go again?
I don't know what you call them.
Size. They're called size.
Spider-Man.
Congas.
Yeah, we got a couple
I
Congas.
thought they have a different name.
The
I
size.
size of the three.
feel like there was another name from them.
No, it's a
Fucking
size.
Tontos or something
Sister's
like that.
ass.
Those.
Some kind of word for it.
Tonto. No, that's an Indian.
Yeah. Long Ranger?
Tonto's the type of weapon. I know.
And the
from
Long
Call of
Ranger,
Duty,
Tonto, yeah.
Were
something
those
like that.
movies not the fucking greatest movies? Like,
Long
well,
Ranger?
especially the first one. I'm sorry, the first.
Ninja Turtles?
Ninja Turtles, 90s,
God.
90s era. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh,
nine-
yeah,
1990
they were like
Ninja Turtles was
Didn't
great.
Jim Henson help with
My
that?
favorite
yeah.
That
was
was a Jim
always
Henson thing because they look so
Cowabunga.
good for the
Amazing.
90s. Everything was, bare minimum.
But when you're a
CGI.
kid and you're watching that, and it's nothing but like the cartoon and the comic book, and then you see like live action like turtles on the screen, like whoa! I was 8 years old, and we probably saw it like 3 times like that summer.
they nailed that.
That
movie. I don't
side
know how they did
scroller
it so
NES
good.
game for me was the big one.
I think the most impressive thing about the Ninja Turtles is like the test of time. I mean,
Yes.
when
Yeah.
you really think
Yeah.
about it, no franchise can I think of has as many iterations
Yeah.
and like non-stop iterations.
It's true.
There's been a cartoon for every generation since its inception.
It's relatable. It's fun.
It's,
They're
you
like
know,
teenagers
and
shit.
they do a lot of fun with the multiversal shit. They'll have them cross over with each other, and they keep bringing back the '80s Turtles for every show that they do. And they've even brought in the comic versions, which are, I mean, people don't realize like Shredder dies in like the first issue. Like they don't fuck around in the comic.
That's a funny thing about like that first movie too. Like it was dramatic. It was serious. There was like dramatic moments. It was like an adult version too. There wasn't like little kiddie or
It was gritty.
exactly. Yeah,
They
absolutely.
started off
Gritty New
that
York
way.
City
They
too,
made
90s
they
New York
dumbed them
City.
down for the cartoon for toy sales. But
Oh, yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
they were really
But
like
it was interesting that the movie was kind of off base, where they weren't trying to make it this corny, Super Mario Brothers esque '90s flick. It was like they wanted to treat it serious, and that's why I'm hopeful for the Last Ronin video game too, because that seems like it'll probably be the best. Like, there's no good movies on the horizon. Let's say we don't have anything cool like Ninja Turtle content wise. That's like I think up to speed with us.
I
know
think
there's
there
a new
is a movie
cartoon.
coming soon.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like another CG style movie.
Just don't let Michael fucking Bay do it. We need
No,
something
it's
that's
not
a little
gonna.
more.
It's not gonna be the Teenage Mutant Ninja
Just
Burn
like-
victims like
Shit.
the last time.
God.
It's gonna be an actual like
What, they
animated
look like
movie.
shit or
They
something?
look like
They
dinosaurs.
looked like
Stupid.
burn victims. Like they had no like.
Their faces
the
were weird. They
colors
were all
were
in
weird,
They
their
don't
steroids.
lean too
nose-
much in the hyperrealism.
It
or
was
something.
horrible, and they
Not
could have
even.
fixed it easily. Somebody did like a CG mock-up where it made it look more like the comics and toys and shit, and it looked like 10 times better. But
Dumb.
I you know what's funny? I didn't see any of those movies. I never saw
wait,
any of those
wait.
those Michael Bay
They're
movies.
terrible.
Oh,
You're not missing any of
Yeah,
them.
no,
There's like
nothing to
2 of
see.
them, right?
There's nothing to see. Yeah,
I didn't see
exactly.
them.
They're using their shells to fucking snowboard. I don't know. Get me out of here.
I mean, they
Take
would have
me
done
out of
that
this
because
theater.
that's probably like Michelangelo doing the spin.
If they don't look
with
like
the
that
dancing.
behind you there, I'm pretty much out.
That's honestly my feeling. Although I will say that the Nickelodeon cartoon that they came out with, the last one, like a CG one, not the one that they have right now where they're all
original
mismatched sizes
Nickelodeon
and
one?
shit.
Yeah.
That was pretty good because they fleshed out a lot of the characters. They brought like a lot of like the support characters in and gave them episodes and like kind of gave them origin stories and shit. Really like delved into like the relationship between like Sakai and the turtles and finding out that like she was like stolen from Master Splinter and shit.
It's funny now because we are the age that we are. So we're the 90s generation, or 80s, 90s. And it's just we're in peak full merchandise mode. They are just unloading every 80s and 90s
It's all about
hot
nostalgia.
toy. What we just talked about, G.I. Joe before we started the show, right? They're relaunching like a G.I. Joe line.
Yeah, Super 7 is putting out a 7-inch G.I. Joe line, which is, I mean, they're really like the finest toys, I think, that are being put out today.
Because our adult
now-
lives
the
suck.
articulation,
And we
is
reminisce
great.
about the good old days when we were
Right.
kids, and what did we do, and what did we have when we were kids.
Well, we're really
And
the
it was-
merchandising
yeah.
generation too. They really got
We
us
were one of the
right
first.
from childhood with commercials and
Now we
you know,
got some money, barely any. We got a lot of credit actually,
Yeah.
so we use our credit
Credits.
to buy up this shit. But it's all good shit. I like it. That new Transformers movie looks decent.
I mean, I got a
love
fucking box over there that's
beasts.
got like vintage style Indiana Jones, Star Wars figures. I got He-Man
got an
figures
entire
in there. It's
house
like
of
what
that, Rob.
what
You
what-
have just the 80s
just that
and
box
90s
right there.
in this-
Like it's like
I'm
it's
staring
got
at it all.
A little of every flavor.
Everywhere
like,
you look, guys, if you could see what I see right now.
it's
Just
fucked.
corner
I
to
got a lot of
corner.
shit.
There's 80s and
early
90s,
episodes.
everything. There's the whole Indiana Jones. Everyone at
It's
Indiana
behind you
Jones's
guys, too,
treasures.
the wrestling
right here,
buddies.
we got the buddies. Why the fuck can't they re-release these things? By the way,
They
I'll
have
buy them.
Not WWE, but like
Kind of corny.
major
different ones.
wrestling podcasts like Zack Ryder and
Oh,
Matt
oh.
Cardona. He's done his version of
I want a Sergeant Slaughter.
We should have bought the
Awesome,
fucking
man.
twins when we were at 80s WrestleCon last year. They actually had.
Yeah, they had the Legion of Doom.
They had the Legion of Doom,
In
and
the
it was
box.
like, but they wanted
got-
fucking $200 each or some
I
shit.
got those for Christmas one year.
It was fucked.
and
yeah.
the boxes that they came in was like this huge box, and my
Yeah,
poor
they
mother,
both
she
came together.
she wrapped it up, and she is like, I don't know what this huge box is, and then I open it up, and it's Legion of Doom wrestling. Buddies.
Walking off the couch, dude. Elbows. Are
I
coming off
took
the
all I
couch
took all the
and just
couch cushions off, put them on the floor, jumping off
Wrestle
the top
ring
of
in the
yeah.
living room, baby.
Fucking
Let's
A.
go. Those are the
Good old
days.
Exactly
Good
why I
times.
wasn't allowed to watch wrestling as a little kid.
Welcome to the Reminiscent
impressionable.
Podcast, baby.
Me and my brothers would like power bomb each other.
Oh, you guys must have been.
Do not try
animals.
this
I
at
can't
home.
imagine
No, I
it.
was definitely
This
trying
poor
this at
kid,
home.
he probably just was the rag doll for years.
We would we would use the garbage pails. We would just slam each other on garbage pails.
well, that
Garbage
and you
pails?
were
Yeah.
probably really like the Jackass era because as you were
it was
probably
very
that.
jackassian. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a different. That was like a new
It
version.
was a
of
little
the
even
WWE.
before
Backyard wrestling.
Jackass, though. Yeah, we would just on the front lawn. We'd get the garbage
Clothesline.
pails and freaking choke slam each other. You know.
The big thing was when one of your friends got a trampoline. Did any
Never.
friends have
Or
that?
in
None
the
of my
summer
friends
if you
had
were
a
in a pool.
trampoline.
Pool
best
too, of
matches
course,
happen in
pool.
the pool.
Trampolines
Yeah,
have
the
their ups
pool
and
is
downs.
awesome.
Pool is
Diving pool or
ideal.
any, yeah, pool you can power bomb everybody. I always get water up my nose. When
Yeah,
I, got
I
power
don't
bomb in
like
the water.
fucking around in a pool.
No, that was where I did all my wrestling moves. was the
Absolutely.
pool. My aunt had a
Trampoline
pool. It was a really nice
Yeah.
sized pool.
Yep.
Doing
We
the
do
fucking
dangerous shit off the
somersaults,
trampoline.
jumping off
Water
the,
stuck in your
the
ear
diving
from a
board,
fucking-
elbow drops and shit.
Yeah, the best.
Yeah, no. So those were
I
good
missed
times,
that
but
pool. That was a really nice one.
That's when like wrestlers' songs really meant something. Now it's starting to be a little bit more of a resurgence of that. Like people love Cody's songs, Sami Zayn, people chant, Seth Rollins obviously.
I still
chanted
think
song.
that Cody Rhodes should have done a play on the American Dream song. They
Well-
could have started as America and
It's
then
his
go
own-
like Nightmare and then like turn it
He's,
to like
yeah,
a
he's
his
trying
own
to
identity
define
right now.
himself.
But
yeah.
that would be because he's the American Nightmare. How do you like? He's literally branding himself as like basically the son of his father. I don't think.
Well,
it's
also keep in
deviating
mind
too
that
much to do
that whole version of Dusty Rhodes was not a beloved version of the America.
Polka
That's
dots.
WWF.
Yeah, well, it wasn't the
Dusty
territory
Rhodes.
version of him.
Yeah,
for
the
sure,
polka
but
dots.
Yeah, that was the polka dot Dusty Rhodes. So
I do.
I
love
think
that
we
theme
should put
song.
them in polka dots
Yeah, Vince had some ideas that were.
and make sure he wears a tank top because he's fat.
I used to
in
want to
Vince.
see Andre's nipples. Yeah.
I saw an
Always
interest.
out.
I saw a good video of Andre being quite nimble over in Japan. They had
Oh,
some
early,
footage.
Yeah.
early young Andre.
Young Andre was
Young
fucking
Young
Andre
Andre could do a
dangerous.
drop kick off the top rope.
That shit was impressive because of his size. He was
It's
just like,
fucking nuts.
Jesus, this guy's moving around the ring pretty,
nuts.
pretty nimbly.
same
Yeah.
thing like Big Show. Big Show
Or
used to do a
Hulk.
kip-up.
Yep.
Hulk
Yep.
Hogan was impressive in Japan too. That video I saw.
Well, Andre was just
That always
extremely
takes them to
fucking
another
strong.
level, Japan. 'Cause they have
they have
to,
a different demand. The audience is definitely demanding of a different thing.
They
I'm
want
sure.
a more physical, kind of.
Are you gonna watch
Cool.
Backlash tomorrow? Cody versus Brock.
Cody
Yeah.
versus Brock back.
I mean,
in
I don't
Puerto
know if I'll
Rico,
watch
yeah.
it live necessarily, but I mean,
Cody's gonna fucking lose.
I don't know. I don't think he's
It
gonna
wouldn't
lose.
do him any favors if he does. I don't see how that helps.
Well,
It helps
I mean,
his
honestly,
character.
everything.
That's his consolation
Now we're
prize
wrong.
for not winning at Mania. You know.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we'll let you beat Brock. No problem.
Is
Yeah,
Brock
it's-
good at putting people over like
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Is
when
that,
he
like,
wants
his thing?
to,
When he
Brock
wants
is
to,
very
yeah,
good
he
at
can.
selling. Cody will probably. I mean, I can't see Cody doing a low blow, but maybe Brock will give him a low blow first.
Oh,
I
that's
think
always
they
how he
take
loses,
some of the
right? That's
teeth
the-
out of
Brock
Brock,
always
too.
gets
He's not
kicked in
as
the
much
nuts.
fun.
Every single time he's ever lost, he got
Right.
hit in the nuts. It's like a running
the
thing with
bloodline's
Brock
gonna
Lesnar.
interrupt and fucking some shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, who knows?
Another interruption. Yeah, nothing matters again until next WrestleMania, right? That's pretty much where we're at. We're kind of back in the holding pattern.
Well, well, the next thing that they just announced, me and Joe were talking about it before the show, is that there's going to be a tournament for the belts where there's going to be two triple threat matches on Raw, and then the winners of that are going to face each other. There's going to be 2 triple threat matches on SmackDown, and the winners of that are going to face each other, and then those winners will face each other for the new belt that they made, the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's, something somewhat interesting and different going on right now. I did also read, too, there's a certain date where, and this is all bullshit, and we don't know what the fuck we're talking about, but there's a certain date where, Vince's
No, we have
storylines are
inside
going to
sources.
finally end, and Triple H's stories are going to really
Where did
start
you
to
hear that?
begin. I don't know. I read it recently. They were saying, after a certain point, it's kind of as far booked out, where they can finish off all of the storylines from the Vince era, and really Triple H can begin to start his own shit. But who knows?
That's true. They are highlighting the belt heavily. Every time we've put one of these shows on, they definitely got the belt ringside. It's very much like a part of this.
Whose
I guess,
idea was
transition.
this design for the belt?
well, it's based off of the big
Vince,
gold
who
belt.
else?
So Vince was the one that.
No, I'm just
the
fucking around.
ultimate
No,
pusher
no.
scout?
I think I'm sure
Triple
Triple
H.
H actually, because he has
Fucking
held
belt
that
sucked,
belt a
and
lot.
everyone thought it sucked, and it probably sucked for a long time, and they just stuck with it. Sorry.
What
Not
are the
everything
chances
sucks,
that
but
they're going to
that's
start
stupid.
combining the
What, the
some
new
of the
belt,
belts?
you think
that
No,
they
the old
have
belt.
now?
No, the
big W
the
belt,
one
you're
that I
saying.
have, the miniature of.
Yeah, yeah.
I bought the
Well, they
big
still
gold
have
belt.
that belt. That's still the WWE belt. It's
Oh,
just
okay, so
Roman
the
has his
Universe
2
one?
belts, so they're creating another belt for the other show. And it's based off of the original NWA, WCW big gold belt. That Ric Flair and had, and then
Oh, I
Raw
bought,
back
I
in the
bought the
day.
mini. It's great.
Yeah, the big gold belt is one of my favorites, so I'm glad to see them paying homage to that. And
It was cool. Actually, it came in the WCW sleeve too.
Yeah.
It's not even the WWE.
Should have
one
brought
with
it. You
those-
got it already?
Yeah. I bought it weeks ago.
Okay, where is it?
I fucking forgot. I hung it up in a nice spot. I have both of them hanging up. So I'll bring it next
Speaking
time. I'll
of,
hang up for
this
this shit.
guy,
Belts, Rob, you have a belt autograph tomorrow that you're going to be doing. Why don't you tell us about
Yeah,
that?
I'd like to get Sarge to sign my championship belt that we got behind those two over there.
You cut the whole story. What's the story? Where are we going? What's happening?
80s
Where are you
Wrestling
going?
Con. It's a men in sports arena in Morristown, New Jersey.
Nice.
Year
two.
I think this is the second 80s Wrestling Con they've ever done. Went last year, you and I, briefly, because it was before we went to the Kevin Smith 25th anniversary of the Secret Stash. So
All right.
we kind of killed 2 birds with one stone that
That was a
in
good one.
Jersey that day. That was
That was a long.
it rained the
one.
whole fucking day.
That was a
but,
long
you know.
one because we didn't know we were gonna wait for the second
Yeah,
the
it was
showing.
not planned out properly.
I would have
because-
died.
You would have, bro. You would have been.
You would have made us drive all the way to North Jersey to go to
Drag Sam
Pandora's
through that. I
box.
still owe Sam for that. That one's still on my.
But we did get her in, so she was able to go to the theater.
yeah, she
and
loved
sit,
that.
you
It
know,
was just
sure.
fucking magical.
I mean,
for her.
he's good at rambling on, Kevin Smith.
Oh, Kevin was great. It was funny watching Kevin there too. Oh no, not Kevin. Sorry, the guy. I'm not supposed to be here today.
Oh,
O'Halloran.
Dante, yeah.
What's his name? O'Halloran.
Brian O'Halloran
Brian,
is his real
Brian,
name. Yeah.
He was really nice actually. He hooked us up at the pass. He was the
Yeah,
one that-
well, yeah, I
got
met
Sam
him
in.
at Rhode Island Comic Con years and years ago, and we just hit it off. And I've seen him at many cons since, and we always.
Oh wait, we got off the rails. 80s WrestleCon, Morristown, and now
Yeah,
they
what are
got
you gonna be doing
Sarge
there,
down
Plug? What
there.
are you-
Bro, you bring,
Well,
you dressing up? What the fuck?
I'm probably going to be doing the Sergeant Slaughter costume.
Probably?
We'll see.
And all your friend and the whole gang is gonna
Yeah,
be
there's
there.
going to be a whole gang of 80s wrestlers. The guy that dressed like
Dusty.
Dusty that was in the ring with Cody is going to be part of the group.
Nice.
That's right, Daddy.
We
Yeah.
got a few people.
Is Dusty gonna be there?
Well, the guy that plays him, I mean, obviously
I know,
Dusty's
not
dead.
Dusty
You know,
Rhodes,
it's
I
not
know,
real-
I'm just
if
saying.
Dusty's there, I'm concerned.
Yeah, something's going on. Something's going on.
Oh,
No,
If
Sarge is
Dusty
there.
shows up,
Jesse the Body was there. The
the
Body.
Yeah, he had a fucking line.
That
too.
was crazy.
Like,
So
there
Sarge
was
is
no-
probably gonna have a fucking line.
Well,
'cause
I mean, I don't wait on lines for Sarge.
I know you don't win.
I'm glad to hear that
Sarge-
Jesse's still drawing a crowd.
Yeah, I mean, he's a legend. He was fucking Hogan before Hogan. Him and
He went a
superstar
little
Billy
viral
Graham.
recently. He had like a little bit of a speech about how billionaires shouldn't exist. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
it's, it's not wrong.
He's always
He's
been,
like, no one's worked harder than I worked
The
when I had to
body
do a
been tore.
jackhammer for 40 hours a week as a road crewman. I was like, oh, shit. He goes, if you don't make $1 billion doing that, you shouldn't make $1 billion doing anything.
Yeah.
That shit was so funny.
So funny.
He's always been,
he's been a
been
champion.
outspoken. He's been a governor.
He was a politician.
Yeah, he's governor
he
of
was-
Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
We went to Minnesota.
And he became
did
like
go to
a
Minnesota.
conspiracy guy a bit.
He is
It was
he's a
cold
little
as
bit
fuck.
he's on the money though with his conspiracy about the JFK assassination.
I haven't heard his
I've
dissertation.
read the book because I like the
I was
JFK
into that heavy
conspiracy.
myself.
JFK was an inside job.
There's no fucking way one gunman killed that
Oh,
our
man.
president. There's
Here
no
we
way.
go.
Impossible.
There we go.
We're off the rails.
We are. 80s WrestleCon, JFK.
Really deep dive.
Fucking
Yeah.
grassy
But no,
knoll,
it'd be
dude.
cool. You,
Fucking grassy
you
knoll,
know,
dude. You know?
I think because Sarge has that deal, and then like they're letting the GI Joe thing come back in. He's like on the big swing.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. I'm really happy for him.
Was he
deserves
just
it.
with? Was he just?
In the 80s, he was signed only with Hasbro, so he was only making the G.I. Joe content. And then when he finally ended that contract in like the early 90s, that's when they brought him back into the WWF and did the whole. Because they try to say that it's like, well, he was a heel and Hogan was. I mean, he was a face and Hogan was a face, and they had to have one of them become a heel because how do you have two faces fight each other for a championship? So they did the whole fucking. I think that was a slight on Vince's hand.
Of course.
To, kind of like, fuck you for leaving the business, during the 80s.
He's a big loyalty guy. Definitely.
Yeah, but the fact
if I know
that
anything about Vince
Sarge,
McMahon,
it wouldn't have
The loyalty
rang
thing.
right if another person other than Sarge like turned heel, and this is right at the the heart of the
Because they
Gulf
already did
War.
face
Golf,
versus
yeah,
face
yeah,
with
where-
Ultimate Warrior.
where
And
they were-
Hogan.
So you have
flirting
someone
with a
who's
lot
like a real American hero,
dangerous.
a GI Joe, and he comes out praising Saddam Hussein during the heat of the Gulf War. I mean, fuck, you
was
can't.
striking
You
some
couldn't.
nerves.
You need
Sergeant Slaughter was a way to get the belt off of Ultimate Warrior and onto Hogan without
It
having
sold
two
well.
faces fight each
It
I
other.
sold-
don't.
that
Yeah,
was
I don't.
heat.
I
That
don't
was real
think
heat.
Vince deliberately would slight Sarge, and he went on to have
Yeah,
a
but
career
they
with
went
him
on.
backstage.
They went on and on with that shit to the point where Sarge was getting death threats.
Yeah, and
it
that's
got
He had
bad.
to be
a story
escorted
that we
with
can
armed
tell.
security to his car. Like,
Exactly, that's a
Yeah, he
story
had to
we can
vacate
tell
his
to
own
this
house.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were gonna blow up his house, dude. Ultra heavy.
And he ended up working backstage
Don't forget,
with
this is
them.
the 80s, Like,
No, it's
Oh, yeah.
91.
well,
This is
yeah.
91?
Yeah,
When they
it was
turned
91,
it?
that's right. It was the early
Yeah, WrestleMania
90s.
7 was 91. I'm an encyclopedia. Don't try me.
No,
true.
No, Joe is.
I don't have my
He's the
memory
knowledge
is
guy.
too
When it
rotten.
comes to
Who was,
80s and 90s wrestling,
know,
Because
I'm-
I
you
don't
were
think,
fucking
I
11
don't think
or whatever
Sarge
and shit.
started with the Hasbro until 86, right? Wasn't it 86?
85.
85
Yeah.
that they did the mail away and all that shit.
Well, no, the mail away didn't come out to about 87, but
But he started doing commercials for them.
he signed with GI Joe in like 84, 85. Late 84.
G.I. Joe.
Yep.
American hero.
G.I.
Real
Joe
American
is the
hero.
code name for America's daring, highly trained special mission force. Its purpose to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
Oh, so you wait? So you guys started watching Clone Wars? Those intros are funny because it's that one guy.
Oh,
does
the Admiral.
voiceover.
It's the
That's
Admiral.
so
It is
fuck-
the Admiral,
and he-
right?
it is
I,
the Admiral,
I had a
right.
feeling. Yeah,
And he's got that voice.
The Admiral.
Got the voice. Right? Yeah. Once I hear that
Anakin
enough, I'll be able
Skywalker
to do
is
that voice
fighting
for
the
sure.
separatist leaders.
Our heroes. It's great.
Well,
And they
our
keep-
heroes.
they
On the
keep
planet
that
of
in, dude.
whatever.
Anakin and Obi-Wan travel across the galaxy.
I had a feeling it was
I
that
think he
Admiral
passed
guy.
away, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
really?
It's,
Really?
I know that the original Yoda voice actor, who's doing
Yoda?
Yoda's voice,
see
passed away.
Yoda.
So
Oh, you missed
wait.
it. Oh,
I
Question:
think the
was
Admiral
that
passed away.
guy the guy who did the original Yoda? Was he the one that did Yoda in the latest trilogy when he's talking to Luke about the burning temple?
No, that was Frank Oz.
Yeah.
That's the newer guy.
Frank Oz
No,
is
Frank
the
Oz
original.
guy.
So that's what I'm asking.
The
So it was
only.
the original guy.
Right.
Well,
In
he's
the newer
alive.
movies, yeah.
So he made it into the newer
The
movies.
Clone
at
Wars
least.
Yoda voice actor was not Frank Oz.
Right.
Frank Oz, for all
Yes.
intents and purposes, retired, but he came back, I think, for the
Recent
the,
trilogy.
I just
recent
rewatched
trilogy.
that scene recently, and it was decent.
It's that scene with the ghost Yoda and Luke
Talking
was
to
the
Luke.
most Star Wars feel
Yes.
out of that entire saga.
Yeah,
Agreed.
that's
Like
true.
you like
Yeah.
them interacting with each other just really felt Star
Well,
Wars.
yeah, and I was watching. I'm like, that's got to be.
But
the
they
original
really
Yoda.
fucked up Luke's character.
Oh,
they
let's
really
not.
fucked it up.
Are we gonna rehash that one again?
Yes, fuck them.
Well, let's
So-
actually go there. We just had May the 4th was yesterday.
That's
Did you guys do anything particular? Did you guys watch
I
anything?
worked the Kayak Club party
right.
for May the 4th.
How was that?
That was a lot of fun.
Where's the kayak club? What is it?
It's at Long Island Glass. If
May
you
the
know
4th
where
be with you.
Island 16
May the 4th.
movie
Always.
theater is, it's like literally directly next
That's
door.
right
to
where I
there.
live.
Okay.
Close to
And
it.
they host
And,
different you
Yeah,
know-
they have like cannabis events and stuff like that.
Nice.
But they did a May the 4th party. It was a good time. Cool vibes, cool people.
very nice.
We did a costume contest and
Who won?
had three. So it was a family. The guy was dressed like old Obi-Wan. The girl
Nice.
was dressed like Rey, and they had a little dog wearing an X-wing costume. It was perfect. And
funny.
real life Lois Mandy ended up meeting up with me later on that night there, and she dressed like Princess Leia. I was Han Solo,
Nice.
and she
No
dressed
pictures.
little
Never had
Joey
a
up.
picture of this. I haven't even. Did this
that's
even happen? How do
did.
you not put this on your social media, bud?
Because he's
I
a piece of shit.
I did.
You did?
I didn't
fuck?
post those pictures. I have to post them.
Help.
I didn't get many. She got more pictures, but then
He
she
needs a
went to,
social media
she went to
handler.
Tampa. Well, that's why I
Yeah.
like when you
fucking
come
fuck
with
his
me,
head
because then
on
you do the
No, no,
things
no,
that I
no,
don't.
no, no.
Yeah,
You need
right.
you need a full-time social media. If anybody's
Not
out there
possible.
and wants
No.
to
No, don't do it.
volunteer
No,
to help Rob get richer, you know.
Don't do it.
Another leech.
Rob will,
another one.
Rob will purposefully not do what you ask him to do. So
Purposely.
You gotta give him
Stubborn.
chops. He'll do it.
start karate
Chops.
chopping him in the neck. Yeah, all right.
Woo!
No, it was actually all right. At work, I had work. So they were doing just a whole movie day. So they just had a. One problem was we had no chronology to it. Motherfuckers were just picking movies, and I was like, every time I turned my head out, I was like, this is not like
Can only
Return of the
imagine.
Jedi. We just watched Empire. Just saw Luke no, and
That's not how
then
the
I'm.
Force works.
That's not how the Force works. And then I'm seeing the X-wing scene in the first of the newest trilogy. It was a good shot.
I know
That was
we've done this in fucking
100,000
verbatim on the show, but
yeah.
let's just go around real quick. Top of your head, no thought, no fucking feedback after it. Your favorite Star Wars movie and your least favorite Star Wars movie. Want to start us off, Rob?
Return of the Jedi favorite, least favorite, Attack of the Clones.
Okay, Chris.
Which is Attack of the Clones is what,
Well,
two?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
episode
Phantom Menace
2.
is one.
I mean, if you
Attack of the
and
Clones.
I'm not even
Revenge of the
because
Sith.
although the new sequel trilogy, they're all god awful. Like I actually hate those more than the prequels.
You think Attack of the Clones is the worst then?
I mean, if you're gonna count the sequel trilogy,
everything.
then probably
1 through 9. Give me the worst. You like Jedi the best. We know that. That's your.
It's like a toss because the Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker were both fucking god awful too.
I couldn't even remember the name to the third one. I was sitting here trying to think, what's the name of the third?
Yeah, the Rise
fucking
of
newest
Skywalker
movie?
is the last.
Chris,
one.
how about you?
the
What's your
third
favorite?
newest.
What's your least favorite?
My favorite, and it's always kicking the hornet nest, but I love Episode 3. I will say that I
Like
went
Revenge
back
of
and
the Sith?
rewatched it, and there are parts
the
of it that are a
chosen
little,
one.
a
I
little
loved
weird.
you.
But there's I love Palpatine. I love the don't kill me. The Jedi are taking over.
How did him kill me, Anakin? I'm too weak.
I'm too weak. And then fucking the next second, that fucking sick smile on his face when he
He's
fucking
such a
cuts off the
fucking-
hand. He's just like
Yeah,
he's like a
awesome.
fucking troll,
George
man. I
Lucas
love
is
it.
not the best at writing scripts. That's his problem. He'll write great stories,
But that's also
the
what makes it
scripts are
so
what-
quotable is how weird it is. I don't
it's
know.
like, I don't like sand. Like, all right, this is Darth
Yeah.
Vader.
But that wasn't
Don't
3,
forget,
right? It was 2.
That was 3.
This was episode 2.
That was all.
he doesn't
That was
like
in 2.
sand.
The sand.
Oh, the sand. Is
Yeah,
like,
'cause
Yeah,
that was
that
like the
quote.
Attack
weird
of the
date
Clones.
with fucking Padme. It's
Yeah,
like,
But when he kills all the Jawas, that was in.
like, why couldn't they
Two.
just make them the same age?
is
Why
an
did they
cool
make
scene.
her
I
like
just watched
fucking
it.
14 and he's like 9, like in the first movie, and then they were 11?
What's the age
Remember
gap?
what you told me about your mother?
in the sand?
Sand
They're
people?
5 years apart,
They're 5 years.
about. because you got to figure
looks
she's
a
like
lot older
14
than
years
him.
old
Padme is a pederast.
in the first one, and,
That's what I'm saying. He's like
like
child.
9.
Yeah.
well, she's 14 when she becomes
She's
queen.
a sex
Well, that's what I'm
offender with a
saying.
record.
She's like 14.
I do want to get
when
back.
Anakin meets her, they're like, yeah, they are
9 and
fine.
14.
How does she get elected as the queen of what
They
Naboo,
say that in
right?
the Plagueis.
Chancellor
forget.
Valorum.
in the
I
Plagueis.
didn't get up to that. I'm right near the
Because they're
end.
plotting
confidence.
actually on Naboo.
But how do they elect a child? That's what I don't get. Is
Child.
how did she get chosen? What was the reason?
One.
I think she does something. She actually like has a part in some fucking thing in Naboo, and they elect her.
They don't say it in the movies at all.
It's never set spoken.
No.
It's only in the Plagueis.
It's an elected.
I think that's
king or
what-
queen.
The prequels suffer the most from is that they have so much story that they're not telling you in the movies that you feel kind of lost.
Well,
And
it's
you
so
don't
hard
know
'cause
how to
there's so
like
much.
really connect with these characters because in the original Star Wars trilogy, it's very simplistic. That it's like it's Luke, Leia, and
First
Han on
movie,
an adventure.
90
They have
minutes.
to blow up a Death Star. There's a clear-cut enemy.
Got a rescue mission.
The prequels, it's like, all right, these are new characters. All right, well, so the Obi-Wan character dies in the beginning, so that makes sense, like Qui-Gon Jinn. Now we've got Anakin and Obi-Wan, and we're supposed to believe by the end of these movies that they were truly like brothers and that their relationship fell apart. And those movies did not do a good job of
Well, there's time
representing
jumps.
that relationship between them, that they're really that close.
I thought
and
episode
that's
3
what Clone
did.
Wars exists for, that's the cartoon show, to really flesh out their relationship. Because how much story are you going to be able to tell in 3 movies when you have an entire fucking intergalactic war going on? And I think why people had sour grapes from the series from the start is that the very first movie is very political, and people weren't looking for politics. They were looking for lasers in space. So you get a little bit of that at the end with the Darth Maul fight, which was fantastic. I think that's one of my favorite
I
lightsaber
love the
fights
pod
of
racing
all
too,
time.
Phantom Menace.
Yeah, the fucking Darth
Personally,
Maul.
I didn't care for the pod racing. But I'm not a racing kind of guy. That's not my cup of tea. I can
I love the
appreciate
noises
the
that
artistic
pod
form of
racers
it
make.
because it's kind of bringing like a Ben-Hur like storytelling to Star Wars, and it
100%.
makes sense,
All those
that they needed a
vistas.
way for him to like
Prove
get them
himself.
off the planet and like have
Prove he was
Obi-Wan
Jedi.
understand that he was already a great pilot by the time
No
he
other
first met
human
him.
can
Like,
do it. No human can brace those things. It's literally like, nope, humans don't do this because they can't.
they don't have the
He can.
reflexes to,
Who does?
I think you'll never. Here's the thing. They're good enough that you want more. That's the problem, right? Oh, they just don't have everything I want. But listen, that's
Star Wars is such
good
a
story.
rich
That's good
story.
storytelling because you're just left wanting more. So you'll go read a book that helps inform that movie.
And speaking of getting more, I gotta say, Jedi Survivor, fantastic.
Hold on. Let's wrap
Come
up
on.
the one
Relax.
conversation.
Yeah, we
We're
still
not
got.
done yet. We even
Joe had a question.
fucking
We're
every
trying to
episode
get
we
through
do
it.
this.
I know.
Your least favorite?
Least
we
favorite.
going-
we're still doing
going
My
big
favorite.
fucking,
episode 3.
Yeah, Revenge of the
Palpatine.
Sith.
I love the story of Anakin's turn to the dark side. I'm glad that they explored it. Also, how Palpatine developed. I love Palpatine. Just how he really did manipulate all of this shit. He really did. And the Plagueis book fills in those
all
gaps,
his
even though it's
fault.
not canon.
It will be.
My least favorite, truthfully, I really don't have one. I didn't hate the latest trilogy. I agree with all the gripe, a lot of the gripes for it, but I went and saw them alone because I didn't want anybody else's opinions to taint mine. And I remember seeing whatever it was, the second one, and I was like, it was pretty good. It at least kind of felt like Star Wars to me. Like the way that they shot it, it felt a bit like Star Wars. I thought I watched a Star Wars movie. Did I think it was as good as the originals? No, I never thought it would be.
Here's
And-
The Last Jedi. You
And then
ready?
I
Here's The
went
Last Jedi,
home,
look.
went to bed, I woke up, and then it was like just a fire on Twitter,
There's another
and
way to
everybody
do it.
fucking hated it, and it was the worst thing ever. And
So you're picking that?
I'm not gonna pick a least favorite. You know what? Hold on. I'm sorry.
Here we go again.
I
No,
take
yeah,
back
what the
everything
fuck?
I just
You're
said.
literally ignoring
I
the
take
one
back
movie,
everything I just said.
which is one of the better
I
movies.
fucking
this out.
hated Rogue One. I fucking
Didn't watch
hated that
Andor
movie.
either.
It was
Got it
just
out of him.
didn't watch Andor either.
Why did you hate
I
Rogue
got
One,
halfway
Chris?
through Andor and dropped it.
It did not feel like a Star Wars movie. It felt like some movie that they just like painted Star Wars onto. It could have been fucking Saving Private Ryan or some bullshit. It was some kind of war movie that they just pushed in.
Alright.
And the stars?
Hold on. There's a couple of things.
It's good.
The planets on that fucking movie. They're on like fucking 9 different planets. You don't remember any of them. None of them are unique. All of the characters, you can't even fucking, maybe now you can because of Andor. Couldn't remember any of their names. Didn't feel fucking a single bit of empathy or anything. When any of those characters died, I didn't give a shit. The best character in that movie was the fucking blind guy. I am the Force is with me. I am the Force, the
Yeah,
Force.
Donnie
Robot.
Yen.
Okay,
the
that was
robot-
pretty good. And the
was the
robot,
best
who
one.
was the comedic relief.
Yeah, he was the best one.
But even then, I didn't
Alan
give a
Tudyk
shit
played him,
about
right?
them. I had no fucking attachment to them. And any other Star Wars movie, within that hour and a half or whatever, you start to really pull for those characters.
It has fucking Mickelson there in it. Great.
Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen plays the guy that designed the Death Star, which is wild. And now his
I like that
brother
they
is going to play Thrawn, which is wild.
I did like that they fixed that plot hole a bit, which is great about Star Wars, that they can make these, extended things and whatever, retcon it in a sense.
So yeah, when I watched,
And I liked Tarkin, and I liked what they did with Leia in that last scene. But apart from that, fuck that movie.
Honestly, that the Darth Vader hallway scene is aesthetically fucking cool, but ruins the gap between Star Wars and Rogue One for me, because he sees the data disk hand delivered to the ship, and he sees the Tantive 4 blast away.
as far as
And
I'm
now the
concerned-
entire conversation that he has with Princess Leia in the beginning of the original Star Wars movie makes no fucking sense. He said several
A lot of that
transmissions
movie
were
doesn't make
beamed to this
sense, though.
ship by rebel spies. I want to know what happened to the plans they sent you. And she's pretending like she wasn't fucking there, and he saw the fucking ship leave.
I mean, we know how
Tear the
much,
ship apart, I want them
alive.
Makes zero fucking
know-
sense.
we know how much those movies.
You weren't on
That
any
movie
mercy
specifically
mission this time.
has a lot of lines in it.
All right, Vin, give your picks.
Yeah, what favorite and least favorite?
Favorite and least favorite. Empire Strikes Back. Least favorite. Fuck.
I'm sorry, I can never remember which ones. My memory is dog shit.
Episode 5 is
Okay.
Empire
Empire,
Strikes
yeah,
Back.
that's
Gotcha.
when Han
That's where
Solo
Han
Han's
goes into
frozen.
carbonite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one, yeah. I love
Bounty
the opener.
Hunters, Boba Fett, Lando.
Hey, Lando.
Hey, Lando.
Colt
Who
45.
the
Question, just again, refresh my memory. Death Star gets blown up
in one.
New Hope.
in the first
In the
one.
very
Yeah.
first
They
movie.
blow up
Jedi
the Death
as
Star
well.
already.
Empire Strikes Back is about the Empire pursuing the rebel fleet after they destroyed it and fled
the
Yavin
hidden
4.
base of
The
Hoth.
next base that they went to was Hoth. Then the Empire discovers Hoth because of the probe droids that they send there. They destroy the shield generator and they send in the AT-ATs. So they have to leave there, and the entire rebellion basically scatters, and like that was like a crippling defeat for the
So the
rebellion.
Empire gets
So
strikes back.
the fleet does not reconvene fully until Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. On
Return of the
Endor.
Jedi is where they finally bring. It was actually at Sullust. If you listen to what they say, the rebel fleet is reamassing at Sullust, and then that's where they leave and
You know why Empire is
attack.
good for me? And I'm sure people fucking
Death Star.
hated it back then. It ends where the bad guys win, right? And if you had to wait a couple of years to see Jedi, you were probably fucking pissed.
Oh yeah.
In my mind, Luke loses his fucking hand. It's kind of everything's scattered. Everybody's, it's not good. Han's in the fucking carbonite. Basically, everyone's favorite character. I'm sure back then Han was just like the man.
You have the major revelation that he is
Luke,
his father.
is he really? Is it a lie? Is it a Sith fucking lie? And I'm sure the cliffhanger and everything had people pissed. But for me, yeah, if I watch Empire, I get to just watch Jedi next, and it's like, yes. And
Least
Jedi
favorite.
favorite. Damn man, no, I'm still gonna say Empire. Empire's a favorite. Least favorite's gonna be
favorite,
Rise of Skywalker is probably my least favorite. Even over
Which one
Last
was that
Jedi.
out of
The last
first?
one,
last-
episode
it's the
9.
most
It's the one with
newest.
the Emperor.
Really? I thought that was the best attempt to fix everything. I thought that the
Well, that was the problem, is that they had J.J. Abrams come in to make the first one. Then Ryan Johnson, like, literally derailed
did
his
whatever the fuck he
entire
wanted
plan,
to do.
and then it was just kind of like a cleanup by J.J. Abrams to try to
And I
finish
appreciated
out the
that cleanup effort because I thought
They
it
should
could
have
have gone
just
much
made
worse.
J.J. Abrams make all three, or get somebody that was willing to do all three. Like,
Sure.
You know, that's
even
the
the
problem
fir-
with
but
having like
even,
different
you know,
directors for one.
Empire had,
solid
had
story.
different directors
Empire
in
had a
Empire,
different
yeah.
director, and you know,
But they were overseen by George Lucas.
right. That's the problem that you know they had there. But
There was
anyway,
no
we're not gonna
Filoni
fucking dig into that
overseeing
again.
these
damn it.
movies.
And you didn't have Marshall
Also,
Lucas
I've watched
either.
it the least. If I go back and I, for whatever fucking reason, I'm like, you know what? Let me just watch that trilogy again. I'm sure I'll give it its due and be like, oh, all right, you know,
But it was better
good
than-
enough. You know, 6.5, 7, or there's definitely some key shit in there that I'm like, I just don't like that. I didn't like how they brought Palpatine back.
Yeah.
I know
I
how
loved
they
it.
did it.
I
I'm not
loved it.
against him coming
Somehow
back.
he survived.
I don't think you know, Sith surviving assassination attempts are like, is that bananas, or him trying to clone himself and all these other
I thought it
fucking
was
things.
lazy
Like,
writing with the
Right,
with, the,
it
with
just
Snoke
gets-
and all that shit. They hype Snoke up
had
for
no
all these
purpose.
movies, and then
yeah, so it lacked the purpose, and they were just trying to put a bow on it.
Yep.
So it was good enough. So we were just like, oh, all right, well, that's over. Like, cool. Definitely not running back to watch that trilogy, though. I'm just not. I
definitely
will
got
watch-
robbed of seeing Luke
I've
Leia and
watched
Han
the
on
other
the
6.
screen
I've
together.
rewatched Rogue One. Rogue One's definitely on the. To me, it's in the top. It'll be in the top 5, or 6. Yeah, 6 is too. I don't know. Attack of the Clones.
movie's
drops.
unwatchable. It's so bad.
All right, my
It's not
fucking
bad.
turn.
How's it
God
not
damn
bad?
it.
How's
Bad.
bad? It's
Empire
not
Did you care
Strikes
when any
Back
of them died?
is
that
the best
wasn't
Star
the
Wars
point in the
movie
story.
for
That
me,
wasn't what I
period.
was watching.
Sorry, go ahead,
I'll
Joe.
watch
Empire
it for
Strikes Back by far.
Alright.
For a lot of the reasons
Why?
Vince mentioned. But Empire, if you watch it back today, more stories spinned off of that, more lore, more revelations.
Shadows
from-
of the Empire.
It was
You
more
know,
well thought out.
It was just like
George.
it was like they really fulfilled this universe, and they gave it like scope and layers,
Yep.
and just like they gave it so much more than just a space odyssey and a rescue mission, which was the first movie.
Listen,
They really nailed
it was a movie that the studio believed, because the first one
Yeah.
was like, this is fucking stupid, cancel it, shut it down, this is like a crazy bullshit idea.
But the characters that you got from there, you got the whole bounty hunter lineup. You got,
Yep.
Boba Fett for the first time. You got Lando. You got all these different
A lot of
planets.
Darth
you got
Vader.
Hoth,
It's
you got
also, it's also a
Cloud
tough
City.
discussion, but I would
You
say
first-
maybe Empire Strikes Back might have the best soundtrack of all the movies.
Yes,
Oh,
and
without
you
a
first
doubt.
meet the Emperor.
Yes,
That's a big
without
fucking
doubt.
deal. When you meet the Emperor, right?
Without
It's
a
like,
doubt.
oh shit, he's evil.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
And then you
Who's
get
his
to
son, Darth Vader?
see Yoda, and you get to see Luke training and
Yeah.
Dagobah, and there were so many different planets that they visited in this movie. It was just a complete like evolution of the Star Wars universe. So hands down, it's always been my favorite. It was my first Star Wars movie that I watched as a kid. I think it was during Christmas time, and I only picked it because the back of the cardboard had snow on it. So I was like, oh, I want to watch this.
Right.
And I loved it.
Before you say your least favorite, again,
Oh,
just
question.
questions. When they first introduced the Emperor, what do they refer to him? Is it Emperor Palpatine?
Just the Emperor.
He's the Emperor.
Just
In
the
When
fact,
do they
they
start-
never say Palpatine in those original
Is it only in the
movies.
trilogies that he's
So,
referred to as
on the
Palpatine?
action figure, it does say Emperor Palpatine because it was in the novelization of Star Wars.
Oh hell
They
More
yeah!
of
mentioned-
a-
Because they never actually
it.
said it in the
Oh, yeah,
movies.
this fucking
But
set.
Darth Vader in
I
the
backed it,
novelization
but
of Star Wars is referred
doesn't
to
get back
as
tonight, it's
Darth
over.
Dark Lord of the Sith.
Yes.
So that was the first
so
time you ever hear the
that's-
word Sith. It was actually in the book, and they never said Sith in the original
Yeah.
trilogy.
Really?
Sith
They
was
never.
not a
So
word.
that was
Hear
going to be
the
my
Sith.
next question. Is
the religion.
because a big part of the
They
Plagueis
said dark
books.
side a
It's
lot.
the Force.
It was the
It's
dark
They only
side.
said the dark side.
Dark
They
side.
never said Sith.
Gotcha.
Just
Now,
once.
a big part of the Plagueis books is, people don't necessarily know that Emperor Palpatine is Darth Sidious. So, at what is it known in the time of the original trilogy that they are the same guy? Like,
No, because
No.
It's never
Darth
open.
Sidious is not a public figure.
Right.
Yeah.
That he doesn't exist. He's a ghost. He only exists to the people he collaborated with,
Right.
and he had them all killed.
Right.
the Separatist leaders, everybody that knew he was
Right.
Darth Sidious is gone except for Darth Vader.
Right.
Darth Vader is the only person
Palpatine-
besides like the like Yoda and Obi-Wan that know that he's a Sith.
Palpatine becomes
They just think
the
that he's a
Emperor.
public figure that got
He's
attacked.
not known
And
as
because
Sidious
he got
the Emperor.
attacked and was betrayed by the so like if you're like a common person in the galaxy, you would be fed propaganda that the Jedi turned on
Right.
democracy.
The Jedi are taking
and they
over.
were wiped out.
Traitor.
And the guy that was attacked by them
love
ended
the
up
Republic.
creating. That's
I
why they
love
were
democracy.
laughing. They were saying, you know, how does
don't have to
democracy
worry about
die with
The
thunderous
round of
applause?
applause.
You
Yeah.
don't have to worry about the Senate.
I love
He's dissolved.
democracy.
The Emperor has
I love the
dissolved the,
Republic.
Senate.
So,
Meanwhile-
for all
He
intents and
controls
purposes,
the
he's
bureaucracy
just a
without the
politician.
bureaucracy.
Meanwhile, he looks like that because he fucking exhausted himself and changed
to him.
himself.
Even
with Force
Darth
lightning.
Vader, I don't know if people know about Darth Vader unless he's like been to like the planet. Like he's going on missions taking out people, but like Darth Vader's not like going around and campaigning for the Emperor or anything like that. He's just like a tool
like his-
used by
yeah,
the
his-
Emperor.
And he
Fucking
comes out of
hitman.
nowhere because they don't know that he's Anakin. You know, nobody
Exactly.
else
And
would know who he
Anakin,
is.
so I think in
Anakin's
that
dead.
world, Anakin was killed and he was like a considered like a war hero and was killed
as
during
far
the
as anybody
Purge.
knows, Anakin. They don't know, and that's what's so cool about those Thrawn prequel books is it's not known that Anakin is Vader. They assume that Anakin died and Vader killed him.
Yep.
You know, just like Luke said, you killed my father. He's like, no, I am your father. But Thrawn's able to figure
The
it out.
comics are really good. I don't know if they're considered canon, but they're doing a story in the Darth
All those
Vader
articles
comics
are
where
published by
like Darth Vader's actually with Padme's handmaidens. And one of her handmaidens like joins him and like is dressed like Padme like in an imperial outfit, and she's like working with Vader and shit. And the other handmaidens try to like bring her back, and like it's a really interesting story because Vader's still got a soft spot for her. So like he's like allowing them to like mouth off and shit. Like it's a very different Vader. It's a
Joe.
interesting.
Your least favorite.
I mean, that's an easy one. The Last Jedi. Fuck Ryan Johnson.
Yep.
He
Yeah,
just
but Ryan
ruined
Johnson
everything.
really
That
fucked
was.
everything.
Offensive.
I just think back to my mentality when we found out when we saw that picture of Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill in the room, and they were about to film the next 3 movies. Like,
Yep.
you were so fucking hyped and
Right.
excited for this. And the first movie came out, and it was literally scene for scene a reenactment
Of the first
movie. And then, losing Han Solo, I get it. Harrison Ford always wanted his character to go out in a blaze of glory. But what pisses me off is you didn't really feel the emotion from the other characters. First of all, second Han dies, Chewie should have went fucking apeshit. He should have
Right.
been ripping off arms. He shot a little bit, and then that was it. And then, like, the next movie, you wait through this whole fucking movie, and you're like, oh, I want to see Luke. I want to see Leia and Han on the screen at the same time. You don't get it.
Never.
It's the last minute of the movie. You see Luke, and then it just fades.
How about the shit that Chewbacca walks right past Princess Leia?
That's
and
the
goes
other
all
thing.
gray?
That's the other thing. Didn't even give her a hug.
Yeah.
And then the next fucking
And,
movie, you have to
hey,
wait.
wait.
Hold on, you have to wait 2 fucking years,
Yeah.
and literally you wait 2 years. Like, oh, maybe this is the movie where it's gonna fucking happen.
She's giving him
They're gonna
the
go
saber.
nuts. Yeah.
He dropped the lightsaber.
First fucking scene, he goes, oh. I'm done. I'm out.
We had a little.
I'm out.
We got fucking
fucking done.
Leia
Expectations,
popping,
I'm out.
floating through space.
Especially
Get
with
the
all
fuck
the
out
As
of here.
soon
Great
as
expanded universe
as soon as
shit.
Luke would have got wind of Han, he's like, "Where's Chewie?" He should have been like, "Where's Leia? Are they okay?"
It's so funny how
it didn't have the fucking
The
correlation
family.
and the impact.
In the first movies, that's one thing that I noticed the most.
They
now
became
as
a
an adult.
family.
Yeah, they always hugging
Hugging each other.
When Luke comes in the
Yes.
room, it's like the
Yes.
gang gets together.
is
and
all
they,
here.
You know,
Yes.
they're
Like it's going to be high adventure when the 3 of them together.
and
It's
Guardians
like, oh,
had
shit.
a little bit of that
We're
feeling
gonna,
of
we're
family.
gonna,
so
we're
we'll
gonna
talk
get
about
to
it,
that, but yeah,
But that's
It's
the
just
thing that is
fucking-
missing. It misses that continuity of they are a family.
camaraderie,
And the other, I don't know. Yeah, whatever. We could.
I think they
rehash
tried
this
too
shit.
hard to push the new characters.
They made
That
they made
yeah.
Luke kind of seem like where he was Ben Kenobi from the first movie, where he's kind of like an Ubatsa Vangul, and he's he's a
Yeah,
farmer
but not
now
for nothing.
and a
Obi-Wan
fisherman.
Kenobi was willing to go to Alderaan when he got that message. There was no, there was
immediately.
no, I'm not going to do this. It
That's a
was
good
like,
point.
I'm going to
That's a good
fucking
point.
Alderaan, and
he
you're
wasn't
coming
in
with me.
the
Like,
Obi-Wan show though. In the Obi-Wan show, he was checked out.
Well, that was before he evolved as a character because that's how
Well,
they
he was in
staged
hiding.
it.
There was
you know
a
what I
point
mean?
where he was out too.
But it's a very different situation. Very different situation.
Well, we didn't.
Don't
also,
forget,
we
he
didn't
doesn't have
get,
the
we didn't
entire
live-
government chasing
Well,
him.
here's the
Luke.
thing: we didn't.
You know what I mean?
As an audience, we didn't live through the rebuilding of the Jedi Order and the new Luke built Jedi Order.
There's no
we
real
didn't
loss
watch
there.
that, and we didn't feel the loss when it was taken away. So then
Right.
it even makes why we don't understand as an audience Luke's motivation to be so defeated. So we're still like.
They do
What
explain
the
why he's
no,
defeated.
They
He
explain,
fucking
but you don't as an
he was
audience.
gonna kill
Don't
fucking
defend it. Everybody.
he was
in the
gonna
room
kill
disagrees
Kylo.
highly.
because of the visions that were put in
right.
his head,
Yeah.
and he went to kill him.
No, I know
and
they
he-
tried to justify it, but it didn't communicate to the audience well. So that's all
I,
I,
don't,
can
I
say.
thought it was pretty clear why he was fucked up because he. Look,
No.
With the
You know why? It's logical.
Leia didn't
it's
even
logical.
mourn Han's loss.
The
She
audiences
didn't
don't go
even-
through logical journeys; they go through emotional journeys.
Terrible.
So when you're watching it, you want to feel it. You don't want to be like, "Oh, that checks the box."
I know,
to
but that's what I'm
explain
saying
this
is I-
away.
I did feel. I'm like, it made sense, and I did feel where he was coming from. I think the whole idea of somebody being absolutely perfect and
Well,
in
three
tune with the
people-
Force.
three people in the
Sam
room did
Witwer,
three-
who's the voice of Darth Maul, I think said it the best. That it's like, this is the guy that saved Darth Vader. This is the kind of guy that doesn't fucking give up.
He's the hope
And you're
of the galaxy.
telling me
Yes.
He's the
that
but he
he
failed
would
after that.
kill his best friend and sister's kid
His
because he
own
had a
nephew.
bad feeling about him?
nephew.
When Darth Vader literally killed people in front of him that he cared about
Oh, he fried his
and
aunt-
still
Aunt
tried to bring
Beru.
him back.
Yeah.
This is the guy
He would've-
that took
he
his
would've-
lightsaber and
even if
threw it
Ben was
away
gonna
and
go
said,
to the
I'm
dark
not
side,
hurting anybody else.
There's nothing that he
In the
would have
face
done.
of his enemy.
Yeah, there was nothing that
In the face of the
tech-
Emperor.
according to the lore of Luke Skywalker that was established over decades before this fucking movie came out. So that's why.
Once Luke is
That's
like
why it
fully
gets-
Jedi
you went
master,
to the you went to the movie clear-headed and alone and willing to forego any of it, right? Like not really having even been in the extended universe yet before you started picking up on it. So like that's fine, and you
Oh, it
saw
was a
the
little
movie.
bit.
But I just mean to say, like, you're going in with that clear head, fine. A lot of people are bringing a lot of baggage into that fucking movie.
Yes.
They read a lot of fucking books. They read a lot of cool shit that we're now visiting ourselves, where you go, wow, this is great shit. Like, can't wait to see them do movies of this. And then they come out with this kind of dribble Disney fucking fuck
It's like
up.
not seeing your best friend for like 30 years and then finding out he's an asshole.
And to the point to your
Could've been
favor,
better.
of all this discussion, we have not even mentioned Finn. Just totally
No,
never did
because he
anything with his
completely
character.
fucked
glazed
him
over
up.
Never did
character.
anything significant. The traitor scene was
They,
good. That was
they
funny.
fucked him over
Yeah,
because he was supposed to be a Jedi.
Could have been. There's no reason for him not to
that was
be.
what people
He could
wanted.
have been
No,
her
no, no.
first fucking
He was
Padawan.
originally supposed to be a Jedi. And remember when he was saying that he was going to stop and tell her something before they went off on their adventure?
Right.
He was going to tell her that he can use the Force. That
Right,
was
and-
original.
Well, and then people
And then
thought,
you
does
look,
he,
And Ryan
does he
you
want
Johnson
to
look
tell her
on
he
some of
likes
those
her?
Ah,
movie
nah, I'm not gonna give that
posters,
to
they
the
made him
audience
a
'cause I don't
lesser
like it.
character.
holding a
And then
lightsaber.
before you know it,
Yeah.
Fumble.
He uses a lightsaber.
they
they
did
put
in
it
the
all
first
on
movie.
Rey and they fucking busted.
Yeah, I agree. If they really invested in him more,
And,
Still
it's- and
those
they did
multiple
such sour
characters-
grapes to the poor guy. I don't blame John Boyega for hating fucking Disney for what
No,
they did to his
no.
character.
He will take that check that they're about
They
to
need to
100%.
retcon those movies.
That's
They
what-
really need
They're not
to.
going to do that.
Those
I don't know if they're
movies
going to
are-
full blown.
They'd rather come out with 7 new shows to make that show less shitty than make those
They're
movies
just gonna,
less
they're-
shitty.
you know what they're going to do? They're going to make that trilogy look like a speed bump to the rest of the story.
Well, what they need to do
know what
is
I mean?
do a
It's gonna-
do a,
instead
do
of
a
being the
special
base-
edition release in like 10 years.
Go to a Disney
and then just
park and
fucking
it's-
edit
it's not-
everything else that's shit in it. You know,
Just distill it
fucking-
down to about 3.5,
Yeah.
4
If
hours.
If you go to a Disney
fucking-
park, you're not going to see Han Solo and Princess Leia. You're going to see Rey. You're going to see
BB-8.
Kylo Ren.
I just don't understand not putting them in the same room on screen and at the same time in the first. I don't understand like
because that would have made too much sense. man.
why didn't Han and fucking Leia and everyone go to Luke because it's so fucking important.
You know, let's
it's so important
Let's
that he
split up
comes
Han
back.
and Chewie.
It's
and, like,
vital
send
to
Chewie
everything.
along.
We're all dead. The First Order, Luke, you're our only hope again. We should all go. No, Rey goes by herself.
when they
What
when
the
they
fuck?
go to the when they go there and they finally get him, he looks at Chewie, goes, "Where's Han?" And Chewie just looks at him, and then that's it. There's no
true,
emotion. There's no fucking, oh my god. He shuts the door and he's like, I don't know, whatever. Like, get out of here. Get out of my house. Like, really? It sucked. Anyway.
And it didn't help that he himself, Mark Hamill, came out and was like,
course.
Luke
Mark
would
Hamill
never fucking do
tears the
this.
shit out
He
of
would
those
never
movies.
do this. I've lived this character for 40 fucking years, and he would never fucking do this. Why are you doing this to the character? And they just went, well, because we can. And he was like,
Thank God
I
our
guess
last
so.
memory of Luke will be from the Mandalorian
Right.
season finale.
Yes.
Season
Well,
2, so
that's
that'll
how they're
be-
gonna retcon
how
it. That's
I
what I
would-
mean by they're gonna turn this big thing into a fucking speed bump.
Actually
It's not
releasing
gonna matter.
a toy set with Luke and Grogu training from the Book of Boba Fett with the little frogs around and shit. So that's gonna be a new toy set that
Yeah.
you can pick up. You get and he comes with the little the Beskar like outfit that they send
Oh,
him.
really?
And, yeah.
So before we get to our final topic, Rob, let's segue into what you kind of wanted to talk about. We can kind of all go around and give our input. Talk about, your time with Jedi Survivor.
Jedi Survivor, fantastic story. Even my dad got sucked in and was like sitting there watching me play it.
Really?
Outstanding.
Where are you
but
at?
I will
how
say-
many hours in? Where are you at?
I think I'm like 26 hours into the game. I'm almost done with the main story. I don't think I have much left to that. Twists and turns, crazy shit goes down. Very, very, very good. I won't
Awesome
spoil it for the
fights.
people that haven't played it, but I will say that it is very buggy and it has
technically
crashed. It has
sucks.
crashed my. So
Kinda.
I've had the game crash 4 times already, but
Jesus.
2 of those times it actually shut down my entire system, and I had to unplug
Jesus.
the power source and plug it back in to get this PlayStation to turn back on.
I don't even
And
understand.
and so this is a word to the wise to you guys and to whoever's watching. If you pause the game and leave it paused, that's what causes it. So what I've been doing is pausing it and then hitting the PlayStation button to bring it back to like the main menu of PlayStation.
Oh.
It won't crash if you do
I
that.
save and quit.
But if you
everything.
leave
I
like
would
say like pause and then
Yeah,
leave the
believe
game,
it.
it's
I don't
gonna
believe it.
crash.
there's always
Quick
been
resume.
games you couldn't do that where like when it goes into a
This
suspension.
I don't
is the
believe
first
in
one I've
quick
seen on
resume. This
PlayStation
fucks
5.
the game.
And this
It
has
sucks.
also happened after the patches dropped. So the patch
Bro,
does not fix that
EA
issue.
Sports, it doesn't work. That's
EA
legit. Like to me,
Said you're
whether
in
it's
26
Madden,
hours and you're almost at the end. We had dinner and we went to the movies with little Joe. He's in the chat right now. And he was telling me he got like 60 hours in and he's not even close to done with the main story.
What's really cool
Joe
is
pours
Seer.
through.
Yeah.
Seer, who was the teacher from the first game, and
Yeah.
she's in the second one.
Yep.
She's actually going to be at Brooklyn Comic Con in June when I go there. So I'll actually get to meet her, which is really cool.
Chris, are you playing it?
So my whole thing is I've been cursed where I just don't have enough storage on my PlayStation, and I have not been able to get for the longest time expanded storage for the PlayStation. When I got a 2 terabyte like internal thing, and as of this morning, I now have a 2 terabyte Samsung heatsink.
Let's
fucking
go.
Whatever.
There you
So
go.
when I get home, I'm gonna be planting that little chip there in my PlayStation, and then I can finally actually get Jedi Survivor. And I will. I didn't play the other one. I didn't play the first one. Maybe I will eventually, but I'm just gonna, I think, just start with this one and then go back if I ever want to, or I'll watch a YouTube playthrough of the first one.
They have the
Recap.
in the beginning. If you want, you could play the video. It's on the main screen there.
Yeah, so I'll do that. I am looking forward to it. I'm still been working through the Plagueis book,
Plagueis book is
which
fantastic.
is great.
Yeah, Jedi Survivor. It is really good, and it's good enough for me to be able to overlook. So, graphics aren't everything. I play Minecraft. I play fucking any game. It doesn't have to be perfect, but in this case, it's technically broken.
Yeah.
Like it's actually.
Yeah.
The visuals are busted at
Yep.
times. You can see like their face, so the face
Yeah,
models
blurry.
are so blurry and shit.
Yep.
You're like, what the fuck? This is not next gen looking. This is not a game I would use to show off the horsepower of the fucking next gen consoles. It's
No.
definitely like you could just tell it's straddling both generations. It's another one of these games that it's available for PS4. It's not. It's next gen only.
Gen only.
Yo,
No,
I'm sorry, I
I
don't mean to interrupt. He's
don't
got a
believe that.
WWF logo on his jacket. You notice
Oh
that?
wow.
Surprised
Yeah.
they're letting him
Ooh.
do that.
Bad Bunny has a WWF.
Oh, yeah, he has an
logo on it.
attitude era.
I'm surprised they didn't blur that out. They always blur.
Oh, and someone got that jacket. That's a fucking
cool.
huge score.
Oh, dude, see that right now?
That shirt's about to sell
That's
a lot.
about the LWO shirt is gonna be freaking.
Yeah, it's a big
You're
seller.
gonna see people who aren't even wrestling.
Sam's gonna want that.
Gonna want that
Yeah,
shirt.
Sam's gonna want this shirt now. Okay.
And they also make it in different flag colors too. Sorry,
Oh,
I didn't
really?
mean
Do
to
they?
Yeah, so they got like a Cuban version. They got a Puerto Rican
So there's
flag.
Bad Bunny, Rey
Mexican
Mysterio. They got the full squad
the
in the ring there.
LWO.
No, so yeah, with Jedi
So wait,
Survivor,
You're
what?
saying it's not that visually impressive?
It is not.
Really?
It is
I
not.
thought that this was supposed to be like the whoa.
It is
should
next gen
be,
only,
but it
though.
ain't.
It is
I'll
next
tell you.
gen only.
I heard a weird rumor. I fucking read something on the internet, which grain of salt. One of the things they kind of blatantly rushed the game. They
course they
basically used Unreal Engine 4 and all the existing assets from the previous game,
Part of Unreal.
and they just up-res, not even up-res, I'm sorry. They just expanded on what already existed. Like, the worlds are bigger. It's a little less linear. Combat system is more complex. There's more stances and weapons. And you know what I mean? They just took what they had and just built on it. But allegedly what they did also because this is a trilogy series, they're working on the third game right now on Unreal Engine 5. So the third game is supposed to be, allegedly, an Unreal Engine 5 next gen.
We need another fucking game engine besides Unreal Engine, but we need more. We need more
There's
engines.
more, of course. There's three majors.
There's Rage Engine.
Epic does, Epic. Well,
Epic
some
does
do
Unreal, I thought.
most do proprietary anyway.
Frost Engine is another one that's
Yeah.
out there too.
Who's using that?
It's
an
Halo,
EA.
that's a bunch of different games.
There's a few.
I
You
just feel like
hear
we just see
Unreal.
so much Unreal Engine shit, and I'm like, I want more.
It's easy. They build the tools, and the fucking developer doesn't have to custom build it. Rockstar, why does it take 10 years for a fucking game? They have to build the assets themselves. They literally create the fundamental engine that runs the game, whereas EA doesn't care. They're going to pump these games out to get them out at a certain time and date. They don't care. I'm fucking laughing because you know what comes out like in a week? Probably the biggest Switch game. I know a lot of people aren't going to play because the graphics, but when Zelda comes out, apparently that's a 10 out of 10.
Of course, it is.
Everyone that's touched
There's
it
never
is
been
like,
a major
this
Zelda
is-
release that's not a 10 out of 10. They're all 10 out of 10s.
You're right. That's true.
It's probably
So,
the best reviewed game series of all time.
This is gonna. It's
Chris
gonna
never
just
played one of them,
overshadow. It's gonna
You may
overshadow
have played this
Jedi.
one.
So I thought, like, if you pushed it a few months, it would have been fine because we would have had Ahsoka coming out.
Could have been
You would've
good in
been-
the summer where there's that summer lull and you don't really
Yeah,
have
you're
anything
waiting on
before the
shit.
big fall.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And you're waiting on the.
I think they wanted to do it around the May the 4th kind of Star Wars
definitely you're right.
celebration.
It was to
Yeah.
hit that date, and
It's
they fucked
unfortunate
that
too
up.
because the game is actually very good.
Yes.
The story is very good. The
Good
characters
story.
are very good. The world is fleshed
feels
out.
like story.
The
Star Wars.
customization that you can do. on
Combat is
Cal.
good.
Combat
Excellent.
is very
Very
good.
good.
It's excellent. My favorite thing about the game is in most games like Metroid or Zelda or whatever, like when you play a sequel, it's like, oh, something ironic happens and you lose all your fucking powers and you have to go
Start
and
all over
rebuild
again.
your powers again.
In Grand Theft Auto, it's a bridge was fucking blown up, or there was a
Yeah.
storm. Yeah.
But this game, Cal, he's the same Cal that he left off on Fallen Order.
And
He has all his moves. You can add to it and get new moves, but he doesn't lose anything.
Right.
He still has a double jump. He could still wall
Wall
run. He could still, he has
ED
all his
can
force
open up
pulls.
the shit. The
There's everything.
splicing and
So I think that
It's a
that was a
true
smart
continuation.
move. Yeah, that was a smart move. But the graphical glitches, it's not so much that the graphics suck. It's just that there's glitches. There's
frame
textures
rate.
not loading. The
Yeah.
frame rate drops.
Like, ooh,
There's
that just-
pop up. There's cutting and
screen tearing.
Screen
You noticed
tearing. It's
that?
just like
What's that?
it-
Is that the green?
No, it's like when you'll swing the camera and you'll just see like a break.
Yeah.
It'll like look like the screen kind of broke where
Gotcha.
pixels don't align properly.
you'll get to like a new area and it'll just like slowly start like loading. Like
but I can
we're on
still
fucking next gen hardware. What are we doing here?
that's
You
what's
know?
bugging the
COVID.
shit.
And it's 3 years into this hardware, so it's not like they have a fucking excuse. You've had ample time now
Shit.
to get accustomed to this hardware, and you still are not able to kind of capitalize on making it even functionally run correctly.
You know what? It could really be attributed to. I think it's kind of like rushing these next gen systems to meet the bottom line, where like a lot of this shit you could have continued to play it on PS4 Pros, and
Sure.
it would have been fine. Honestly,
Some
You
of
would
it.
some
Some
yeah,
of it. Definitely God of War Ragnarok could have been done on a PS4 Pro.
right. You know,
And
it
that
would have
game-
been You would have heard that shit from
that
the
game
next
looks
room,
great,
but
though. But we've had Resident Evil 4, which I've fucking damn
So-
near mastered. Not one graphical hiccup. Game looks fucking amazing. Plays
Stranger.
amazing. Even God of War Ragnarok. It wasn't like the
was-
most advanced looking game, but there's no fucking hiccups, man.
it's clean.
It's just a fucking smooth fucking game. It's a masterpiece.
And-
when I look at games like that that are that good and they have no hiccups and they have no fucking technical issues, those are the games that have become masterpieces.
I think there's some examples. What the fuck's the other one? Suicide Squad got delayed for like the third or fourth time.
Fucking Redfall. That game was
Redfall,
trash.
Yeah,
bro.
that
Redfall
game
for
is
Xbox.
torn apart
Supposed,
right now.
Terrible.
supposed to be a big Game Pass banner.
made
Xbox
that?
new.
Well, it's Bethesda.
That's
right?
that's
It's
a Bethesda game?
Bethesda
It was
game,
going to be
yeah.
on both, and I think they canceled it for PlayStation, and then
Yeah.
it was it's Xbox exclusive.
Yeah.
Sucks. And
It's just-
that's from Bethesda. You know that is on a deadline because Microsoft right now is like we need to put out
Phil
a new
Spencer
game.
came out and said,
And
I take
take
all
ownership.
the blame for
But
for
fuck you,
Redfall."
that's cool. I appreciate that, but you're in control. That's what. So EA came out and said like, we're sorry, it's not up to our standards.
The
It is
PC
up to your
version is
standards because you
unplayable.
put it out.
You know about that, right?
What?
The PC version of Jedi Survivor is not playable.
It's
You
broken.
cannot
It's
play
dead.
it.
I don't even. There's not. Yeah, there's a couple of real shit examples of that too. So the business is dictating things right now, whereas, you can tell like some of these studios need more time. They're also making games.
Hell said the thumbnail's on point. You see?
Oh, there you go. Thank you for the photo.
Mm-hmm.
See what teamwork does. Suicide Squad is suffering from something design related where there's no point in the fucking game. They tried to make an online multiplayer, bullshit. Let's keep expanding it. It's an expandable world, and you blow up these balloons. I don't know. I saw a trailer and I was like, there's no point. There's no story. You don't give a fucking shit about these characters. We just watched a movie that the whole point is the characters. You care about the characters. You don't even care about the big explosions and all the cool shit. You're, thinking about the characters. So God of War was great at that. You give a shit about Kratos. You give a shit about his son in the first one.
Fuck that kid.
But, it's good storytelling. And that's like where games that are great
Last
excel.
of Us.
It's the difference
The
maker.
PS5 version of Last of Us.
You're
is
in
a
fucking
masterpiece.
tears. You're like, oh,
But
this is sad,
it's a graphically like superior game. Like it doesn't look like the greatest game, but there's no hiccups, there's no tears, there's no glitches, there's no
What?
the fucking system doesn't
point-
shut off on you. Like
my
those
point was
are
gonna
well-made
be,
games.
Everyone's complaining that Rockstar's taken a decade to make a new game, right? But when it comes, it's going to change things. It will technically change how
It always does.
you view games. It will change fucking fidelity, the graphic fidelity. But they need 10 fucking years to do it. If you want to be impressed, stop going on Twitter and fucking haranguing these people and let them fucking do
Totally
the work.
fine with that.
Yeah,
Totally fine
I
with that.
think everyone
Totally fine
sit
with
back and wait longer because it's better to wait than get bullshit.
Get these mediocre games that have all these technical issues.
That's
Just do it.
80, 90
Yeah.
fucking bucks. I paid $90.
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, no, I
Yeah.
didn't buy the special for
Yep.
Jedi. But
Yep.
yeah, bullshit. You're
$70
rushing everything.
either way.
And they got us because I'm a sucker where I want to play it.
Yeah.
I'll overlook. I have a friend, Phil, who will not touch it. He's like, I'm not touching this
Yeah,
until it looks
I
great.
get it.
I'm like, I get that. I'm not going to like argue against
That
it.
it's put me off from constantly playing it every night. When Resident Evil
Right.
4 came out every night, and when I had time, I
Solid.
put some time
Solid,
into
man.
it.
I liked
Jedi
Hogwarts.
Survivor. There's nights where I was like, I don't really want to play it. All right, I'll play it. So I haven't really put,
doesn't-
and I like all that, but I haven't really put as much
Same.
time into playing it. So
100%. I wish Rob was still here to help us, but
he's probably
gone.
wiping his ass. He's Fat Boy
Indisposed.
Burrito is ruined Rob right now.
So I could still. All right. I don't want to rank it, but I guess we might as well give it a number if we're all sitting here.
I mean, I don't want to give it a number until I beat it, but so far
That's
from
true,
what I
that's
played,
true.
it's a 7.5.
7. That's a fair.
Yeah.
Technical. It's all technical because I would still recommend the game.
If you
I'd say,
wipe out
buy
those
this
technical
game.
issues, I'm going in
8.5,
the
9.
high 8s, maybe 9.
I think it could get
very,
if,
very good.
if the story delivers because the end of the first one really delivered with like a Darth Vader moment that was huge.
Amazing.
If this one delivers something,
Have you met Boba Fett yet?
no, come on.
Hey, this is a
That's
show.
fine.
It's
I
a
don't care.
spoiler.
That's fine. I don't care.
Come on.
I don't care like that because this is all stuff where we're just
Like I'm
existing
telling you, Boba
in-
Fett dies, but there's
No, we're in the world.
there's
I know.
cameos.
Yeah,
There's
hell yeah.
cameos, and
It's well done. Like they actually looked like the guys who wrote the story clearly are whatever in the room of what the fuck is going on at Disney.
Yeah.
So that's good. There's continuity between
I think this
what's
will be
being
cool
told.
because this will be like the first video game story that gets adapted and infused into like a TV
Gets-
show or a movie.
right.
Like you will see Cal Kestis at some
Oh.
point in maybe one of the next Disney shows that come out.
He's,
Whether it's Ahsoka or Mandalorian season 4, whatever it is, you'll see him at some point.
I was trying to piece together the timeline. So,
And the trailer is awesome with Mark Hamill teaching him like Force stuff. Did you watch
oh,
that?
that was great. That was a
Fucking great.
home run
Yeah.
fucking ad.
Home run ad.
That's like how you market. That was fucking slick, even though the game still sucks. No,
So, other games though too. I didn't get to play Dead Island yet.
I didn't
That's
touch
out,
that
right?
shit. I can't.
Yeah, it's a
new
good
games,
game,
bro. Everyone's
I've been saying,
fucking-
let's get it. If we all get it, I'll get it.
Well, I have it
multiplayer, right?
already.
It's
I
four
have
pla-
it.
you have
Just
it?
get it because Joe got it. I have it. We
Is
got
he
the-
playing
That'll
it?
be
Yeah,
fun.
he was playing it. No, he was playing.
If you're all
Him and-
gonna play it, I'll get it.
I loved
cousin
Dead
plays-
Island back in the day.
Yeah,
I
it's
just,
awesome.
Again, I needed this
time,
hard
bro.
drive.
I'm fucking
awesome.
my now if I get some stability and some fucking
Is on my side.
hey, I could get
You're on the
online
trend
at
for
7
that.
o'clock, 8 o'clock, and
Yes, it
play for
is.
2-3 hours.
But
and
it's
go
like
to
you
sleep
need
at
to
noon.
play it online. It's
The game
No,
is
but
fun
that one's
solo.
a friends game to me.
That is
Dead
a
Island,
co-op.
Yeah,
fucking
let's have fun, kill
go out there and
zombies,
just
survive.
slaughter everything and pick up shit.
I
Great.
love the heightened sense of like, oh shit. That's
Yeah.
one thing I found that I like about games. It's why I like Minecraft survival mode. I found a little indie game called Dredge. You're like a little fishing boat, and you go out into, you go out and fish, and you keep getting equipment and upgrades from selling the fish. But then at night, it's like turns into this horror story. Anyway,
Let's play. We're supposed to play Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves is another one.
Sea of
There's a
Thieves.
heightened sense of danger. There's a heightened sense of like,
That's why I love
oh
War-
shit,
Warzone so
something
much.
consequence. There's like, I love that. I love that feeling in any game. That's why I liked Elden Ring. There was a sense of consequence to
That's all it
making
was.
your
You're gonna trigger
decisions.
Chris.
Came back
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
like you
Oh my
fucking
God, I'm gonna
some
kill
German
that poor
sadist.
woman.
We can't have an episode unless
Yeah,
Chris gets triggered. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Did you
So-
play Raft? Did you ever play Raft?
I tried, but it just graphically was
so
underwhelming.
so
and
Raft
the
is
controls
the
kinda
graphics
sucked.
aren't great, but if you really like get into the game,
It's got that.
it gets way better.
I like that
because you
shit.
find out it's a post-apocalyptic world,
Okay.
and you'll find islands where there's like abandoned buildings and shit.
Okay.
And you start
That's-
finding
yeah,
more and
this-
more, and then you have to build a radar, and the radar will lead you
that.
to the islands that you need to get to fucking solve the whole thing.
I love,
So I played with friends, and we had a huge fucking raft, and we had food cooking and water purifying, and we had fucking traps for
Love
all the
that.
shit. Like every
the
time we'd
forest.
sail through something, it would just like gather it and shit. It
we
was a lot
love
of
playing.
fun.
Did you play The Forest?
I did play the forest.
Forest
Joe, did you
was-
play that?
When Sons of the Forest come out?
That one's fucking cool because you're like, first, it's like a builder survival, so you can chop down trees, build fucking forts and
Looks
fortifications.
incredible. The graphics in this new one look insane.
Fucking tree houses and shit. You
Yep.
know, you could go crazy building. So you could build traps for the enemies that attack you at night. So we would just get
But you go
a little
exploring and
corner.
shit, and you find tools and like caves and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
axes.
Those are the games I get the most kick out of. I love story-driven narrative. Like sometimes I need that. I need like an Uncharted because open world games, for example, Grand Theft Auto. I'll go on Grand Theft Auto and drive around for 45 fucking
Just
minutes.
'cause of the
listening
music
to
and the radio
radio,
stations,
enjoying
absolutely.
the environment. I'm not
Zigga, zigga,
enjoying the
zigga,
shit
whatever
out of
goes.
it.
It already
Whatever
had
goes.
its story in the story mode.
But I'm just not getting anything done sometimes. And then sometimes when I'm having limited amounts of time, I feel like, damn, I didn't like. It's a bad thing to feel, but it's like, oh, I didn't get something done. You know what I mean?
you're bored in GTA when you start following the traffic laws.
I love doing that shit. I'll do that for fun. I'll observe fucking pedestrians, talk
I
shit.
try not to hit cars because I don't like getting my car ruined.
I hate getting my car. I'll
Yeah,
go,
but every
I'll-
time you go back to your
But
office,
then
you
if
put it in the
someone
garage, it
rams into
fixes
me,
it.
I'm getting them out of the car,
Oh, yeah.
beating the life out of them. No, I love those moments, and
I've been
I love
dressing up
free
as the
roam. But
valet.
I do like games where I'm like, all right, cool. Like I did that next checkpoint. I got to this part of the story. It's a good time to like pull back. Like let's.
And that's another thing I will say about Jedi Survivor. It
They give you good
vastly
checkpoints.
improved upon
Yes.
the first game, where
Shortcuts,
the things that
checkpoints.
annoyed me about
Yes,
the first one
yeah,
were
shortcuts.
definitely
Oh
fixed.
my god.
Yeah.
The traversing
travel,
on the last
all
one
that shit.
because
Yeah.
I was getting lost. Actually, in this game, do you find yourself getting turned around a lot? Because I am.
No, because if you pull up the map will tell you which
I think the
direction you
map is
came
shit.
from.
I don't trust it. I don't even know what it's really pointing me at. Sometimes I'm like,
I have the concern. I was like, ooh, what's over there? That's
how I
what's
play
getting.
But it
me right
rewards
now.
you by
like,
doing the exploration.
ooh,
You know,
what's
that's why I
over
like
there?
those kind of games.
and it's one of those false free roams. It's not truly free roam. It's very linear. There's only like A, B, and C path.
Yep.
But
the
it's kind of more
most sandbox
expanded.
world is the world with the desert with Grease's bar. That's really like an open world.
That is the tower.
The only shit that like annoys me, and like Resident Evil does this a little bit. It's like when it's open world, but there are points where you get to a point in the story where now you can't go back to a spot that you were
Always
at
when you
before,
squeeze
so
through
all
the
that
wall,
shit's left
squeeze
behind.
through the space.
Yeah, and then
that's when
something
it's-
falls down. It's like
Yeah.
anything that you left there that you thought you can go back to. Nope, it's fucked.
And this
I
game is
have-
not like that.
It's funny. Joe is really good at sniffing out. Like, I think something's over that way, and I'm like fucking
That's me.
oblivious
Oh,
sometimes.
Me too.
I overdo
I actually
that.
do the worst thing. I will be like, oh, I'm gonna go back and get that. I know
Yeah.
there's something there, but
No,
let me and I fucking go, and it's like, nope, can't go
Fuck.
back.
When I got to that planet, I was like, ooh, what's down here? What's down these pipes? And I transversed. I was like, oh, fuck, it's a Rancor at the end of the tunnel. And I was like, I got to beat him now. I'm not fucking going back. I'm going to make sure I beat him. And it took me,
That shit was
it was
hard.
difficult, but
It was
I
more-
finally got it to perfection where I killed him without ever getting hit.
You know, you can throw the bones into
Right
his
in
mouth.
his mouth.
I didn't
But
even
if you
fight
try
it.
to
I
do it
don't
more
know.
than twice, he gets wind to it and it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, Rancor gets wind. It's like, don't try to fuck with me.
I also want to address one of the comments that little Joe put in here as to why I'm so pale, and I'll just say that I am not as pale as I look on camera right now. Vin looks pale. You look pale. Look at you. You think you're that pale? You're pale, but you're not. That's not you, dude. You're a lot more pink than that. We're both a little bit more pink.
pale,
We need some color.
Well, it hasn't been
Pink,
warm.
pale,
so
what's the fucking difference? I'm
Well,
not
like
saying
yellow
I've
to
always
beige
been
or
fair
anything.
skinned. You know, I'm
I haven't
Oh,
seen
look
Irish.
at me. I'm the
sunlight.
fucking Wonder Bread Wop over here.
We're all pretty white, but
disgrace to the Italian
I'm
race.
just saying that
because
right,
the sun hasn't
right-
been out
no,
for
no,
more
no.
than 12 hours.
We
in
look a
6
lot
months.
more. We need some color
It's
correction.
been
on here,
fucking
dude.
50
We're not
degrees
this
for the
pale.
last
Wanna
2
fucking
weeks.
Look at this.
I'm just
Thanks,
saying
Joe.
we're not
Help.
this pale.
And we're on black background, so it's the
Help.
most dynamic
Hulkamania.
contrast you're gonna
Yeah.
get. Hey, look at your. Anyway,
Yeah.
thanks, Joe.
We're all,
Appreciate you, bud.
we're all roaring to go
But
to the
Chris
beach right now with
Moore's
all the rain.
More
The
than
Boys,
more
hey,
than
First of all,
anybody,
I think
Chris is
I think
the most
pale is a pejorative term. All right, I'm
Anyway,
fair
all right,
skinned.
I'm not
I'm
going
fair
anywhere
skinned.
with
All
this.
right,
Keep it going. I
Just
like
relax.
Just let him go.
fucking what do you want?
Let him go.
You know what I mean? You want me to fucking fry in the sun and I get
God.
fucking
Flip it,
burnt?
3 minutes.
Oh,
flip.
my God.
Let it go.
It's a sentence.
It's a sin.
just
Revenge
saying.
of the Fifth.
How sweet is
Actually,
it?
did you
Chris?
hear? Did you hear what they're calling now too?
What?
This is the May. That's the other
This
one
is
I
the
heard.
May.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
I've
is
seen
the
that.
May.
Mm.
This
There's a lot
is
of
the
puns
May.
out there.
I
I
don't
mean,
like it.
Mark Hamill made a whole calendar for the entire
Just
month
having
of
a-
May.
They're having fun with it. That's
He-
funny.
He has fun with that every year. He makes something up for every
Din
day.
Djarin.
Well,
You
love
are
Star Wars.
Mandalorian no
No
longer.
longer.
The last thing I was going to bring up was Visions, because that's kind of the last piece of Star Wars content.
Well,
we're getting
Visions
until-
and Tales of the Jedi,
Ahsoka?
I think, both dropped.
we don't get Tales of the Jedi.
What is
again
that?
yet.
No?
Is that
No,
one of
they
those
announced
shows?
it, but that shit's in progress. They haven't. They just announced it.
Oh,
The
somebody
Visions-
told.
What's
I guess they
Visions?
misinformed me. I thought
Visions
that was
are anthology.
It's an anime-
anthological.
Yeah.
Anthological, is that the right word? Anthology. It's an anthology.
random
each
episode every
episode is
time.
completely
Different
separate.
animators, different
Yeah.
stories, different, all based in like Star Wars lore. So sometimes it's just funny, like robot shit and like what droids do on their free time, or it's a more serious like Jedi Sith fucking like epic battle.
Mhm.
So I just watched like the first 5 episodes last night. I was putting together some shit I ordered on Amazon. Really good, a lot of good stories. Second one's a little sad. It's about a young girl who ends up like turning to the dark side without really knowing it, but she's like looking for a path, and the Sith finds her and takes her away, and she says
Sounds about what happens.
says bye to her friends, and it's like
The Sith are definitely groomers of a sort.
but
Yeah, they start. You know,
Episode 5 was like that too. Yeah, the Sith, awesome looking Sith. This was a cool animated one. The animation style changes, of course, because
It's like Love, Death, and Robots. You know how
Yeah.
they have like a different
Animatrix was like
different
one of the first.
animation, different story. Nothing.
sure.
It all falls under the same blanket show.
So
which is
sometimes
Visions,
it's good
but-
because it's non-consequential lore, meaning doesn't have
So
to
here's a
fucking
question.
tie
Short
into
story.
every
Are there
fucking-
any sequels to episodes from the first season?
Not that I've seen yet. No, I don't think they're going that
I don't
way.
think they will, but it will be interesting.
So yeah, they're fun. It's
Like the droid that
and it's
becomes
short.
a Jedi, stuff
20
like
minutes.
that was cute.
Yeah, that was a good one. Love Death and Robots.
Are there any droids that are able to wield the Force?
No,
ever?
because it'd have to be.
not alive.
Well, I know, I get that. I'm just saying they're gonna do it at some point. So
They wouldn't be able to manipulate the Force because they're not an organic being.
They can fucking
They can only do what they're
finagle with the
programmed to do,
science.
you know what I
the
mean?
robot is able to fucking. They can make it happen. if they want to.
Midichlorians don't work on droids.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Is there's
That's not to say that the robots
Also-
aren't made of the Force, because the Force is supposed to
How are we
exist in
calling them
everything.
robots? They're fucking droids.
droids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the same
whatever.
Fucker.
Cyborgs.
No,
Anyway,
droids.
bulk of the series, meat and potatoes of the episode tonight. Happy Cinco de Mayo. We all
Hey,
went to Fat
I
Boy
wish I
Burrito.
had
We
a
had some
fucking-
margaritas.
That's right, we did
We
that
had
for
some
this one.
burritos.
Had
Rob
margaritas
just
at work.
shit all the burrito out just
worked.
now.
It was great.
Oh, yeah.
But Rob, what did we do today that was so special and we got to finally see?
Oh, we finally. So before we delve into that, I just wanted to say
Spoiler!
shout out to my parents. My mom passed away in 2021, but today would have been their 50th wedding anniversary. So shout out to them. But on a lighter note, we took a little field trip before the show today, and we finally got to see the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And I'm super appreciative to Vin
Mine is
for
Chris.
scooping
I
those
wasn't there.
pictures.
Chris
'Cause
was not there.
those-
Chris was
I-
at
You
work.
guys always schedule your fucking trips everywhere
Where,
on
how?
days that I'm fucking working, you
How?
cocksuckers.
I
But
still,
wasn't gonna
I
see
still
that. I'm
haven't
just
seen
joking.
Ant-Man,
Saturday,
to be
Sunday.
fair. So like,
When did he get? Where were we getting yelled at all the time here?
always getting yelled
I'm
at.
keeping the show
It's the
interesting.
Yelled At podcast.
I'm not that mad. I'm just saying, anytime you guys
I
go to
like
see a
Marvel,
fucking movie,
Marvel
it's
movie,
fucking
Marvel,
Friday at 2 o'clock when
Marvel.
Chris
We're
is at
always
work.
on
Off,
Fridays,
motherfucker.
dude. That's our
I know
day.
you are.
Not
But
anymore.
I am not.
Now I'm fucked. So I get
Vin
to
is
join
gonna
that
have,
crew.
see,
Now
now
I
you're
don't get to go to the
roping you
movies
in.
now either.
You get
Yeah.
to go to the movies.
Jeez.
Nobody gets to go to the
Jesus.
movies.
All I
anymore.
have
Even though I
left
bought
is
all the
Rob
tickets.
for 5 hours a week.
It's all right. I didn't really. I wasn't itching to see this anyway. But you guys liked it, right?
Loved it.
This
Thought it
is
was an excellent
fantastic, yeah.
story.
Best.
If you're a
Most
fan of the
recent
Guardians of the Galaxy, you will love this movie. Really pulled on the heartstrings, but it was also fucking hilarious at times.
Where would you rank it if we want to go around in terms of, this is a trilogy, right? So this is
I
the third
would
one?
say that this is as good as the first.
Give me a score, Rob.
A score?
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
I would give it a solid. So if we're calling like Infinity War like a 10, I would call this like a 9. Like, it's up there for me. I really enjoyed it. I will watch this movie again. I think it's a solid round off of a really great series of movies about characters that you may not have particularly ever fucking heard of. But by the end of the first movie, you care about every one of them. And they did an excellent job of fleshing out those characters. And I think that's really what opened up the floodgates to start bringing in some of these lesser-known characters and being like, we can really tell some stories with these guys and like bring them to the forefront. And we don't have to start scrounging to make new characters because there are great characters that they can pull from the comics.
We're a family.
And that's really like because they were the introduction to the truly cosmic
Got Vin Diesel Groot this time.
of problems and stuff. And I think it was a solid addition. I think this is the best Marvel movie we've gotten in quite some time. I would
I
say.
feel like you say that.
Easy.
You said that recently. I don't think that.
Rob's good at,
Yeah.
It's like Joe. Joe will be like,
I
"He's
am
the best person ever." And I'm like, Joe, everybody's the best person ever.
I am curious
Not this
Joe's
guy.
number because I think Joe grades on more of a curve where he very rarely gives anything a 10 or even a 9.
Movies are hard to get a 10. Games are a little bit easier to get a 10. Like, I definitely would have given Resident Evil 4 a 10. This movie was very, very good. It was very entertaining. I did kind of nap off a little bit during the middle of it, but
Showing your age.
It's just really comfortable seats. You sit in
dude.
that theater is
Very
just like,
comfortable.
Oh, you went
seats.
to which one?
We went to the
Dolby,
Huntington Dine-In AMC.
and then I
theater.
ate like right before the movie, which is like I had a full meal. I had quesadilla, I had a full whatever. Anyway,
Not on-
the movie was very good. The movie
Best
is very
theater.
entertaining. Full
Funny.
fleshed out story, origin story of Rocket Raccoon.
Awesome.
You get to see his full start to finish. Why he is the way he is. How he has mistrust, and because of it was a very heartfelt
Yes.
but warm and yet funny movie. I think that's the thing that Kevin Feige does really well is he tugs on your heartstring, But James Gunn,
Right.
Kevin Feige was on the credits as well.
Well, he's the producer
Yeah.
for sure, but
Yeah.
He's
Gunn-
got his flavor in there.
And he's going to DC now, is that right?
That's right. He's the
Gunn
head.
executes
he's the
where,
head of DC.
where I feel like Taika Waititi goes a little too far with the humor.
They let
The
him go
blend
too
of
far.
humor and then emotion
It's
is
lazy.
it's perfect.
Yes.
So this is a perfect.
out of the 3 Guardians movies, where do you rank it? And then what do you score it?
I probably would say it's the second best one. I think Volume 1 would still be up there on
set the
as
tone.
my favorite. I would probably
Set
give
the
it
tone
a
of the-
solid 8.4.
8.4.
Okay.
That's fair.
Very good movie. This is a must-watch Marvel movie. The only thing that negates it from being like anything that if you don't watch this you're going to miss out is there's no real correlation from this movie that's going to tie into anything else other than the Guardians kind of like world. So
can stand
you're not
on its
missing
own.
out, Chris, if you haven't watched the other 45 Marvel movies.
Right.
If you just want to watch an entertaining movie that's funny, heartfelt, has great character development, this is a good one.
Awesome visuals. It's like
Yeah.
It would help to see the other ones because it'll establish why the team.
Well, I
Is
saw
who they
I saw
are.
the first one. I don't think I saw the second one.
don't
I
have
just
to.
I wasn't like I remember everyone walking away like holy shit I fucking love that movie and I was like here's the thing, I fucking hate that song Hooked on a Feeling. I've always hated it my whole life. I don't think it's funny. I never thought it was funny. I fucking have always hated that song. Anytime
It's
it comes
literally
on,
not
I
in any
cringe.
other movie besides
And
the first
everybody is always like, oh, sing that song, and I was just like, fuck this series. I don't
There's
know.
no way you would be a Jedi because you have so much hate for everything.
That's
Like
not true.
every
I'm
other-
also a very logical person,
I am too, but you have a lot of hate.
You can have a
inside.
but I don't
Logical
let my
sense.
hate guide me.
except the
I
movie.
don't let it
Dictate the whole
subsume
movie
me.
by the song.
Feel your
Yeah.
Anger.
Strike me down, and you will become. I will
You
become more
want
powerful.
this, don't you?
Chris would be a Sith.
Feel the hate.
Chris would be a Sith, but say he's not a Sith.
Yes.
Well, that's what Sith do.
I'm not a Sith. What are you talking about? Not even close to a Sith.
No, I wouldn't
Never
be a
those
Sith
things.
because
But then you'd explain it all away. Like, yeah, I murdered that village. Of course I murdered that village. They killed my mom.
I fucking hate them.
fucking hate the fucking Sith people.
the Sith, they just. I
fuck
don't know.
DoorDash. Fuck Rogue One.
Well, we all feel the same way about DoorDash. I think.
Yeah, DoorDash sucks.
I'm just
I don't even use
voicing.
it.
I don't think I would be a Sith
Fuck
or a
Bethesda.
Jedi. That's the thing. I would never be given Force powers because that's my lot in life. I always just get fucked. They would never give me the Force, even though I'd probably
Chris
be
would
the
be
most
Watto.
capable of wielding it. They would never
most
give it to me, so I would be reduced to being fucking
No, Chris
more
would be
like.
Watto. He would be
I
floating
would be a
around.
slum lord. I'd be like.
Get them wrong. Get the boy.
No, I would be like fucking Carl Weathers. What's his name again? We always forget Carl Weathers' name.
what the
Grief Karga. I would be like a Grief Karga. I'd be the
It's literally Carl
Endo.
Weathers, that's it.
or I'd be like a Han. I
Forget
think
about
I would
the
never
kid.
have the Force, but I would have a gun and
The Force is on
sense
Han's
of humor.
side.
I think
No, Chris would be Chewbacca with all that fucking hair.
Chewie.
that too should be.
Finn, give us your thoughts on Guardians Volume 3.
No, I'm chewing on goldfish.
There
Yeah,
you
sure,
go.
you guys just shut up.
Snack my smiles back.
They're yapping the whole way. I'm like, let me eat these. And they, hey, Vin.
Hey, Vin.
I think it was a 9. I would give it a 9, definitely. It ranks in the top 10 of best Marvel movies.
Really? Top
Easily.
10.
Yeah, I think so. I think if we listed them out, it could get there pretty quick. Easy 15, considering how many fucking movies there are. It's
Jesus.
Too
saying
many.
something.
Too many.
It's such a good bow on the series. It stands on its own, so yeah, you wouldn't have to see it to really care. It's like mainly about Rocket, so you get his origin story, you understand everything that he stems from and how he actually is like the focal point of the group over Quill or anybody else. And it does tie into the relationship of Quill and Gamora, where if you didn't see anything else, that would be a little odd.
That would be like the one
There's
thing you really.
There was a new Gamora, the actual Gamora died, but because of the multiverse, this other fucking Gamora had time traveled with Thanos, the second Thanos. So, anyway, visually, a lot of great scenes. So, the one takeaway, I gotta say, I'm sitting there. It's upsetting because you know it's the conclusion. It definitely feels like the definitive conclusion to the first era of the Marvel MCU, because these characters are going to go their separate ways. They decide to move on. Quill goes back to Earth for the first time. Spoilers.
Bowl of cereal, dude.
Yeah, so bowl of cereal, man. You know, he sees his grandpa. It's a big deal. Started the movie. So to me, the biggest takeaway with Guardians and why it's so successful is it's all about the characters. They don't make as much of a spectacle as being out in space and fucking nowhere and all the gods and they're in a god's head and they don't over try to sell that shit. It's always there underlying in the story. They almost say it passing in reference, but you care about them. That movie opens, I swear, I remember going to that movie going, I don't know anything about these fucking dudes. I don't know if this movie's going to suck, what to expect. Trailer looked good, cool music, had a fucking, well, aside from that one fucking song, has the best soundtrack of every fucking
That's
movie.
a really good point because most of the Marvel movies, you have some sort of understanding of the character. Unless you're like a crazy Marvel person, first watching Guardians, you're like, I don't really know what this is, but it's so good that you begin to like immediately become a huge fan of all these characters.
They open the movie with the guy's mom dying.
Yeah.
And you just, if you're a little boy, you know, you're going to think of your mom and all that. They got you in the first 10 minutes of the movie, and then he gets abducted into space, and you're just taken on this Star Wars-esque journey. This Luke gets off his home planet. That's, you know, the feeling that James Gunn says he wanted to express. He didn't want to make a carbon copy or a movie that felt like it was in Star Wars, which brings me to a point of really surprised he hasn't been offered a Star Wars movie because he could fucking destroy one.
Over fucking Ryan Johnson.
Shout out to the little.
I don't think
Pantro
that's
action
so.
figure, too.
Feige and James. So yeah, now the other thought I had watching this movie is, man, DC is about to get really fucking good. If this guy has the vision that he's applied to this, and he applies it to fucking Superman, and he applies it to the Justice League and all the characters that deserve to be properly done the right way,
like Green Lantern,
you might actually give a shit about DC over the next 10 years, and we might actually be sitting here talking a lot about it, because when I look at not only the visuals, the actual quality of what they're doing, or what he's doing, but how much you care, how much you give a shit about fully animated fucking character. Rocket and the Otter, they're literally just a fully animated, and you're like, you're welling up with tears and
Groot
shit.
as well.
Groot, of course, yeah. Groot's always.
I am
Groot. Vin Diesel Groot this time. Finally got some words out.
Yep.
But yeah, it was definitely. I think it's a 9. If you're watching a movie and you're welling up with tears, they're carrying that emotion through the fucking screen. You know, you're like, that's a solid.
Crying
movie.
for
It's
a
good.
raccoon, Kobe.
Yeah, good storytelling, a lot of fun, very fucking funny. Also, the one good thing with Guardians 2 is they can help set the tone of the future of Marvel. So if Marvel can look at that movie and go, all right, like, that's what they did with Guardians 1, because Guardians back then in the Marvel phase was really stale. I think Thor had come out, and it was like, this sucks. Like, no one was really happy about where it was going. I think Iron Man 2 and all that, they were just like, this isn't really that great, as much as everybody likes to look back and be like, oh, they were all the best.
Avengers kicked it off all the way.
Avengers was the one that was just like, holy shit.
Skyrocketed
You know.
everything.
But
I
that
like
was the
Thor.
end.
Avengers is kind of what took me out of it all, I think.
Oh my God.
Really?
Well, because you were talking about this earlier and how I don't follow Marvel as much, and it's just like, that's when it got to a point where it became hard for me to follow.
Bro, the first fucking Avengers movie when Cap, Iron Man, Hulk, and fucking Black Widow get together, and it's Hawkeye. Like, I remember being ready to stand
3
up
days in a row.
in that movie
I saw
theater.
it
I
3
was
days in
like
a row.
on the edge of my seat because it was just so epic. I can't.
It was tough
I
getting
can't.
tickets,
I can't
too,
even
when that first
understand
dropped.
how.
It's amazing.
Anyway,
I remember like I had to sit in like the second row. Like,
Top
I was
5.
oh, it's still good.
sitting
Top
there
5.
looking like this, just to see it like early.
Top 5
and I was
superhero
like,
movies ever. in my opinion.
Definitely. I mean, hands down. So it was something that never had been done really well, like bringing characters from their own individual movie series together.
Other than
and
the
To
Hulk.
this day, I
making
think
it
Infinity War was
coherent.
the biggest crowd reaction I've ever seen in a movie theater. Like when
Now they're a victim
when
of their
Cap
own
gets
success.
the Mjolnir and fucking
To Joe's point, to
was
your
Endgame.
point now,
yeah, Endgame. Sorry.
the one thing this lacks and the one criticism that or whatever that people may have, or it doesn't have the tie-in. It doesn't have the big grandiose Thanos
Yeah.
tie-in.
Yeah.
Gamora was the daughter of Thanos. He was spoken about. He wasn't necessarily shown in that movie, but his presence was there. And in these movies right now, it's like, where are we going?
The
now the
side
audience
stories
Wouldn't it
expects
kinda-
make sense that with James Gunn divesting from Marvel and going into the whole DC thing. This is like
Well,
James
it makes sense
Gunn's
because
vision, right?
these guys have been doing this for over 12 years or whatever. I forgot when when was the first Guardians? 12 years is an exaggeration. It's like 8 years.
Probably like 2014, maybe 20.
So we're almost 10 years now. They get tired of this shit. They don't want to be fucking Star-Lord and fucking Drax anymore. They want to go do their own thing. So that's also part of, like, in that movie, what you're experiencing. Like, you can tell the actors they end the movie going their separate ways.
Right.
You know, and it's just like, okay, you know, that
Too
phase
much of a good
the
thing
Guardians,
is a bad thing, though. I'm
yeah,
a
you
firm
don't want it
believer
to
in
go.
that.
It gets corny. You keep it gets too repetitive. So this is a bow on the series. It's a really good, I feel like, ending to that. To me, that whole phase,
Each
everything
character gets
from-
their final, like, okay, this story block has ended, and now here's where the next phase of their life is going to be.
They're growing as
They're
characters.
growing as characters.
Yeah,
But you see, like, the evolution from where they became a team, and now they're going to break off, and now they're going to kind of do their own things.
Yep.
You know,
But
Drax
there's hope for the future for those characters. It's
Yeah.
not like an Iron Man and a Captain America where they're done. Like, they're not going to be back because...
They said
whatever.
Star-Lord will return. You know, there's definitely we have
Yeah, after credits roll, if you guys are watching and you want to
spoilers again.
spoilers. There's two
Nobody
credits, one after the first credits and then after the original
Marvel's not
credits.
cool anymore, so you can spoil.
So
shit.
here's a fun little Easter egg, though. The newspaper that's being read in the last
Kevin Bacon?
one is about Kevin Bacon being abducted by
Christmas special?
aliens, which was the Christmas
Yeah.
special. So if
Love
you saw
that.
that,
He's
they
officially in the
kidnapped
lore.
Kevin Bacon and try to give him to Star-Lord as a Christmas present.
What was the running gag? Did that look cool?
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. They had a funny running gag in that one.
We didn't even mention Adam Warlock.
Yeah, they purposefully. I feel like with James Gunn, the one thing is like there may be an expectation of like Adam Warlock being this infinite powered fucking. Like,
Because in an Infinite Gauntlet, Adam Warlock is a badass.
right.
Yeah.
This was infant, stupid, stunad fucking
Yeah.
Warlock. Where
He's young. He's a kid.
In
He's
fact,
very
he
young.
uses
He is
the
adolescent,
stone to
so
split his.
maybe
his
I think we'll see that
essence
grow.
to
I
good
think
and bad.
that should evolve. It's actually good that he's a fucking guardian.
In Infinity Gauntlet, Adam Warlock goes one-on-one with Mephisto and fucking houses him.
Yeah,
I don't know if you ever read that.
I
but,
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I went in on that fucking comic.
Well, you read the sequel that they did where Adam Warlock has the gauntlet and uses it to split his personality with the good and the bad, and the bad one gets the fucking gauntlet, and they have to team up with Thanos to fucking take him down.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember reading that shit.
That's Infinity War.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel like we'll see Thanos again one day. They
Chris,
won't be
what
able
would
to
it
help
take
themselves.
to draw you into the Marvel movies again?
Draw me back in.
favorite
Time. It would take me setting aside, I guess, a whole fucking day because they're all several 2 or 3 hour movies,
actor?
fucking one after the other.
I've done
That's what I'm
this.
saying.
But aside from watching that, like if there was something put out,
Who's your
It's
favorite
coming out.
superhero?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Always loved Spider-Man.
did you come with us to see the Spider-Man movie? Were you there for that?
I don't remember. I mean, I saw, No Way Home or whatever. Yeah, we saw that. I'm pretty sure together. Love Spider-Man. Love the villains in Spider-Man. I like when it's kind of, I don't know. I don't necessarily want all of them interacting with each other. I want Spider-Man. I don't want Spider-Man and this guy and this guy and this guy. I want Spider-Man kicking this villain's ass this time. So it would take time, and honestly, it would take a guide because I know you could look it up online, but it's always changing.
No, you go on Disney Plus and it kind of breaks it down. They have the
A guide of
chronology.
how to watch it in the
They
right
have
order.
They have like the official chronology, which is like if it was on a timeline year by year. So, like Captain Marvel that came out way later is actually like one of the first movies. So it just depends on which way you'd want to watch it. I still would say it's better to watch it through the release of the movies. That would be my recommendation. Watch it as
Right.
which is how they have them. They actually have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and it's 5 or 6 movies in each phase, and it's pretty well broken out.
It's just hard for me to follow at a certain point.
Fucking Game of Thrones.
Well, yes, yeah, and then you'll mention Game of Thrones, and that's true, but somehow Game of Thrones stuck, and I felt a sense of urgency, like I need to follow this. There's a lot of meandering in the
maturity
super
there's a maturity to like Game of Thrones and shit that you're just not gonna. There's a realism and a closeness to
Violence.
world
Too.
history. Like you're a history guy. I know why it doesn't necessarily appeal.
No, I mean, you know what it really was?
There's like
I think the
violence
last
and hierarchy in Game of Thrones that you're not really
politic.
getting.
He's a
Yeah.
politic
the last
guy. That's
the
why Star
last
Wars-
Avengers movie that I saw was Age of Ultron, which to me was like, there was
Not the
You
greatest.
never watched
Wasn't the-
Endgame?
never watched Endgame or Infinity Wars or whatever.
Those are
Watch it.
honestly the pinnacle of those Marvel movies, I would say.
Well, then it became a thing. Like I'm saving it, like Donnie Brasco. Like I'll watch it eventually.
You have to
You
ease
know,
into it.
Joe's
like,
gonna be dead.
But I need.
You can't do these
My
big
thing is, I
cosmic
don't want to
stories
watch it without the
building up to it.
context. I didn't see. The thing is, I missed like one movie, and that was all right. Okay, you
the
missed it. I'll watch it
multiversal
eventually.
shit's cool, but like going back to like Spider-Man, I'd love to see like more of a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Taking down
Right.
like the lesser villains.
It started. I
that's
missed
the
one
charm of
movie,
it.
and that was okay. Then it was I missed two movies, and then all of a sudden I missed like 5 movies, and like I don't know. I can't fucking afford to go to the
My
fucking
shit was,
movies
like,
fucking 20 times a year.
I
to see these
remember
things.
seeing the trailer for Iron Man 1.
Mm.
I remember seeing that and being like, gotta fucking see this.
I think I
didn't
saw
even give
Iron
a
Man
shit.
1 at my barber shop, and I loved it. I was actually, I really liked it. And that's the thing is, I
From
liked that
that-
it was grounded. It was,
Oh, it was
you know,
so
this
real.
fucking guy and how he get. I like
Terrorists
seeing
and
how they
9/11,
get their
you know,
powers and that
Origin
shit.
story.
Like
Iron
origin
Man
stories.
was untold. Most people had no fucking clue about Tony Stark.
Iron Man I knew because he
I
was in
didn't.
Tony
I wasn't
Hawk.
an Iron Man guy. I just saw how real that suit looked on the fucking trailer, and I was like, whoa. And then it made it believable because you were like, oh, well, technology now is kind of there. There's guys like Elon Musk and shit, at the time. Anyway.
It was like 2008 is like the height of like the,
whoa,
you know,
iPhone.
right after 9/11 and things like that. So
It was, definitely grounded in reality. So I was bought in day one.
yeah.
I didn't care about Captain America.
Oh God,
Was not a
I was
character.
more hyped for Captain America than any other movie.
But
I didn't.
when-
I didn't see Captain America. I don't know his origin. I know
That's
he.
actually
he's-
you'll like because it's fucking World War II.
God.
So
Yeah, never saw it.
I went into that with like limited expectation, just kind of like. All right,
I was
let's
blown
just
away
see.
when I got
I was
to
actually
see that.
just
I was
upset
like,
it
oh,
The
wasn't Iron
Captain
Man.
America series of movies, in my opinion, are the best in the
Absolutely
Marvel
agree.
universe.
I came out of that
Best.
movie wanting to
All
kill
of
Nazis.
them.
I was like,
All of
yeah.
them.
He is
I
the
feel good.
the second Winter
Yep.
Soldier is
All
the
of them.
best of possibly
Civil
all
War,
of
I
them.
love Civil War too.
Civil War's
they're
fantastic.
all really good.
That's
Didn't see
those
it.
are the top. That's why
Iron
the
Man
top 5
2
gets
was
tight.
Iron
Eh.
Iron Man
was,
2 was what?
fucking
That was
eh.
the dude or whatever. Was
No,
Mickey Rourke with electric
it had
lips.
no. He was the bad guy in the first one, but the second one was Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
wasn't that one not that good?
So my point
Terrible.
anyway was gonna be I just was bought in
That's
from day one. So when shit was coming out, I was going.
Yep.
That shit had me pretty much every single movie.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like, I'm gonna go see this.
Oh yeah.
And as they were building towards Thanos,
It was
and
an
they were-
event.
It was I was like, oh, we're going, and it just didn't exist yet. Only Star Wars, I think,
Yeah.
could be
Yep.
the same.
Event
How many times did
Event
they
style
reboot
and Batman
Spider-Man?
movies. And Batman
you know?
movies.
What?
How many times did they reboot Spider-Man?
It's not their fault. That's not their fucking
No,
fault.
I know. I
Marvel,
get that.
Marvel didn't reboot them. They sold it to survive.
I get all that.
So it had nothing to do with Marvel. They don't own Spider-Man. Still to this day, Marvel does not own Spider-Man. Sony owns Spider-Man.
Right.
That will be how it is until Sony dies because they will never sell it back. They refuse.
The only reason
because
they
it's
got
such a cash
X-Men
cow.
back from Fox because they bought them.
Well,
I'm really looking forward to Deadpool 3. I can't wait for that.
that should be a tonal shit. I want to see.
Did
I want to see them get more fucking experimental. Be a little bit
Deadpool
more
2 was
edgy.
good, too.
Be a little bit more
They're all
fucking
good.
like. Don't be, overly concerned with what the internet might fucking say. Just go do something cool and fun, and people will jump on board. The Super Mario movie is being held out as one of those where it has no agenda. It's just a good fucking cartoon animated movie. You can sit and fucking watch it and enjoy it. You don't have to think about every little angle.
Even if they
And
never
try to
made another
find
one,
some
it's like
nitpicky
satisfying
shit.
enough of a story.
Make
to
good
sit with.
fucking movies,
Fucking $1 billion.
But you know they'll do more.
Trillion with a capital T. That's one of my favorite things to say when I'm at work. I say that a lot, and it's usually just in kind of a criticism because it's like, wow, that's a big number, and it's still not perfectly great. Like everything that comes out technically should be perfect. Disney's like one of the wealthiest companies ever. It's 100 years. And then you're still looking at Obi-Wan like, I don't know if I'm gonna really want to rewatch that a lot.
I love
It depends
Obi-Wan.
on the leadership
I don't understand
over
what's
what-
going on with Obi. I I thought everybody loved Obi-Wan. I thought it was great, and everybody loved it.
I'm
loved
saying
it.
it wasn't
I did love
perfect.
I liked it.
It had its plot holes, like Princess Leia running away on foot from like
Billion with a B,
Skull
pal.
and
That's
shit,
all I'm
like-
saying. That's what I'm just talking about. We're talking big numbers, a lot of zeros. It should be fucking excellent. It should be like 9, 10 every time.
Well, it's true. Kind of
That-
what
that's
they
the
said,
expectation.
Though,
It's not
that,
realistic,
They made the Mandalorian what Boba Fett should have been.
Well, that's when the right people are in control and the characters matter. We give a fucking shit. The first, what is it? The first episode of Mandalorian, he's like supposed to kill it, and then it's just like, I can't do that. And you're like, oh, this is great. And then he goes like this, and they have the little ET moment, and you're just hooked. That's it for the It's 3 seasons, 5 years later. Can't wait. More. Give us more. Want to see more. Can't wait to fucking see what Grogu turns into.
That
So
reminded
it's
me
'cause
of
you care
last
about the
week.
fucking characters.
We had ChatGPT fucking. We had ChatGPT write a script where Baby Yoda is in The Sopranos. And it was actually pretty. It was pretty
James
funny. If you didn't see
Gandolfini's
it.
fucking Tony's saving
Fucking
Grogu.
Paulie finds him. Hey, you got to see this fucking thing. It was pretty funny.
And he looked at it with a nurturing look. Tony
Yeah.
looked deep into his eyes.
Before we wrap, I want to continue off last week's
we're
episode,
not-
which
we're
I
not talking
missed.
about that.
Did
We're
you
not talking-
fucking really think
I'm
that
not
Tony
talking
Soprano was in the witness protection program?
First of
Or
all,
were you?
Yeah,
No,
see.
I just
here's
want to
all
know.
I'm going to
I
say.
just
You
want to know.
asked the question, I'm answering
Hold
it
on,
right
let me.
now, 'cause
I didn't
wanna
finish my
discuss this
fucking
shit.
question, so you can't
You
answer
asked
something if I didn't fucking finish my fucking
No,
question.
that means you got 2 questions.
No. Do you really believe that he's in the witness protection program, or were you just fucking around?
I believe that it's possible. And I think when you cocksuckers tell me that the only fucking thing that happened was what you believe,
No,
and
it's not what
that
I
any
believe.
other fucking
It's facts.
possibility is wrong,
the show
go fuck
writers.
yourself. That's I'm not. I think he probably does die.
Show
He
writers.
probability
Probably?
does die. I think it's
The
possible
only
that
probably
he did
is
not.
who killed him.
It's possible we're living in a simulation. So.
I think that
Chris is programmed
there's
to
a
say
lot
these
of
things.
things,
He's-
and I
it's not
can't
even in-
even
Listen, I was
make
in
the points as to
I
why.
was in the same boat as you for years.
Denial.
Because I didn't want to believe that one of the greatest characters of all
Ever.
time.
I
Villains,
am ready to
truthfully.
accept that he
I
died.
didn't want to believe that.
I'm not saying
I didn't
he
wanna
did
believe
not
that.
die
Because
I'm
I always
just
wanted
saying,
to see more. I was like, oh, there's one day they'll
It's a
reboot
walk
it.
back.
It'll come back. It'll
It's
come
a
back. And
walk
then when
back.
James Gandolfini, passed away, and then we got this shitty fucking prequel movie that came out, and then he finally came out and said that Tony does die at the end of the movie. That's
He
definitive.
doesn't say, Tony died. He said,
He
it
gets
bothered me
it.
how many people wanted to
It is
see
it.
it.
You're
not
dead.
even-
You're done,
Not
son.
even that. You can watch him say it because there's a video too.
The
It's not even just-
perspective
It's not even
is
like
his view.
interpreting the
Tony
The perspective
Soprano
his
is based
view
off
at
of
the
a
end
guy
of
that went into
At the
witness
end of the
protection.
show, it's his perspective.
Yeah, I know.
It goes out and then cuts. Done.
No sound.
Nothing.
I don't
Like,
know.
why would
audio.
they make that ending if they weren't going to do that though?
Why did they make the ending? They could have.
Because
I don't
when you
even wanna
die,
do
he
this
goes
shit.
black.
Says who? When any other
Says anybody
character
that-
dies,
well,
that's
I
not what
guess They can't
happens.
say it when they're
You
dead.
watch every other fucking person die. You watch Bobby Bacala get fucking shot to pieces, and he's the one
because
that
he's not
said.
the main fucking character. The
That's
Sopranos
not
will
who you're
continue
watching
without
on
Bobby
the show.
Bacala. How are you gonna have the Sopranos without Soprano?
There was a funny
Well, you
clip
got the rest
of,
of the family.
Junior's fucking retarded. He lost his
marbles.
marbles.
Ubats of
Exactly.
Angul.
He
I was in that.
AJ was never gonna be in the mob.
Right.
That was it. The walls were closing around Tony.
I don't
and whether
have
he got
the
killed
the
or he
anger
went
or
to
the
But
But where
energy.
does this
Protection
witness
program.
protection? There's no correlation.
Don't-
There's
don't-
no.
Okay.
This
There-
is like
there-
a fucking
okay,
conspiracy
well, see,
theory.
if you want to
fucking-
actually
missed
let
it.
me mention it, because I couldn't even mention why.
Oh, go ahead.
There was a. I don't even feel like fucking talking about this right now. Tony was already working with them. First of all, I just want to address a couple things. Everybody tries to say Tony would never go into witness protection. You're a fucking idiot. You have no idea what you're fucking talking about. Tony is the most selfish motherfucker on that show, and he's shown it time and time
Who said
again.
he would never?
He's cheated. Plenty of people would say Tony would never join the witness protection. I have a
Nobody
problem
here-
with
nobody
that.
here said
He's
that.
a selfish fuck. Of course he would if it benefited him,
How many
and it
times
would
did he
at
tell
that.
Carmella? Stop talking to my wife. He fucking gets
Sure.
super pissed off.
Sure, but that's part of the
That was
show
a
is
hit,
they
Tony.
were
They're
working
coming
on
after
him.
you. They're gonna kill you.
Right.
Stop talking to
They
my
were working
wife.
with him.
That's just so. Oh yeah. No. Of course.
They worked
It's always
together.
had- it's
He
been-
gave them
always.
the terrorist guy. They were showing that there was a relationship developing between him and the FBI.
Kinda just like
He's
Super
based
Sod
off of
and-
a guy
and
that went
Gabagool
into witness
sandwiches.
protection.
Came down for the sandwiches.
Yeah,
I don't
sandwiches.
think it's because you miss the sandwiches. I think it's because you miss us.
Right. They started to develop a friendship, and then also he was looking out for Tony, letting him know that New York was coming from him, and cheering him on. I forget when it was exactly. I think it's when
Yeah,
is
we're
it
gonna
when he
win
gets
this.
killed.
Yeah, we're gonna win this.
He's
thing.
like, yeah, exactly. There's a vested interest there.
Not by the
I think there was
FBI,
plenty
it's
of
a personal-
opportunities for him to
personal
die.
business.
How many assassination attempts happened
Actually,
on him, and they all
how-
failed?
How
Pussy
does,
Malanga.
how does Agent Harris get the information that he passes on to Tony? Is it through agency, interagency cooperation and an agreement from the judge in the court, or is it because he's
I forget.
fucking somebody?
Does he say
He's cheating on his wife with another lady who works in that unit still and gets
Right.
that info and calls Tony while she's
I
showering.
forgot about
and then
that,
she
yeah.
comes out and goes,
Mm-hmm.
and she knows what he did, and
Yeah.
he's just like,
Did you ever hear the theory, Chris, about AJ's
"Oh,
girlfriend?
This one I
That
think
was
is-
in the insane asylum?
yeah, I
This
think he
one-
mentioned this.
Again, somebody brought up a great point. Was it you about the women and children and the daughters? They would never
Well, they would never
involve
hurt. They
them.
never involved them, but I mean, they did kill Phil in front of his fucking wife. and-
Adriana.
I mean, they did kill Tony.
Well,
in front of
Adriana
Carmela,
was
and
a
She was getting ready to
unique
flip.
circumstance. Yeah. Yeah.
poor fucking Meadow had to watch her dad die right in front of her.
See, and that's the other thing too is I can't imagine David
Those
Chase,
onion rings look
who
real
loved
good,
his
though.
character.
Good onion rings, right?
What?
I can't imagine David Chase, who must have loved his own character, giving him such a fucked ending.
He was
where you
literally
get your fucking brains blown out in front of your family.
You just basically are quoting around what he fucking actually said.
That's not. He said it. It
He
disturbed
was
me how many
offended
people wanted to
that
see it.
people wanted to see him, like that they needed the confirmation
Yes.
for themselves to know. They weren't satisfied with the
People felt it was
Basic-
a cop out. Like, end the fucking show. It's been going on for how many
well,
years?
here's the thing. He's
You
like,
can end it
and
like
you
that?
wanted to see this person that
Why
you
did he
loved.
end it that
He
way?
says you wanted to see a person that you loved because you've been in the trenches with him for 6 years. I forgot exactly the words he uses, but just along the lines of that. You want to see him face down in a plate of his linguine? Like, who wants that? It's morose. It's disturbing. No
So
one
why
wants that.
write that as his fate?
He didn't. That's why it just goes
That's what I'm-
black.
But that would be his
It's
fate.
a peaceful ending. It's the best way to die, to be fair, honestly.
So the
It's a lot of
horrible
painful-
atrocity happens, but you just don't see it. So
Correct. It's left
I
up to
just-
the mind of the imagination of the viewer, and especially at the time.
Well,
where it was
that's the thing
highly
about these
disputed.
books or these stories and these movies and these TV
would have
shows when
never
they
even-
end
we
open
would have-
ended like that.
Well, he would have been fine with that, but he said it had gone on for so long,
Yeah.
and then they were promoting the
Yeah.
new fucking movie thing,
Yeah.
and it just kept coming. It's a constant every
if
day.
they interview him
He-
again and ask him the
every
question
time he
tomorrow,
breaks
he'll
his
say
date-
something different.
Every time he peeks his head out, and he's just like, well, again, and he talked about how he was going to kill Tony the whole time. He had an ending for the show, and he changed the ending because he was on a drive, and he saw a place, and he went, that's where Tony should get it. Get it. What is it? It isn't dinner. Okay?
Tony gets what he finally wanted, which is all of his family together for fucking dinner and
That's the
fucking
irony
all the
of life.
bullshit's done.
That's all. That's the irony of
Rob,
life.
take us home.
Could be a happy ending.
No fucking way. Take us home, Robbie, baby.
So yeah, tomorrow hopefully we'll try to make it to the 80s Wrestling Con. We'll see. I don't know. No promises.
Nope.
But
Sorry, Sarge.
I'm sure you'll have another opportunity.
Jedi Survivor, I definitely gotta finish that game. Been enjoying the shit out of it. We got some good stuff coming. June's gonna be super busy for Peter Griffin because I'm gonna be doing Garden State Comic Fest at the end of the month, Brooklyn Comic Con in the beginning of the month. May's
Jesus.
kind of like I feel like May's kind of shot because May the 4th was really like the only big thing I had to look forward to.
Sorry, we need to get warmer out anyway.
True. I am definitely.
I know it's
going
to be hot, but whatever. I'm sick
But
of this
once
shit.
again, I want to thank the viewers for tuning in to the Break Room Podcast.
Fuck yeah.
We are nothing without our audience. We love you guys.
Appreciate you guys.
If you enjoy the show, please like, comment, and subscribe. This has been the Break Room Podcast. Snoochie Boochies, and may the force be with you.